Hello, everybody. What's up? Hey everybody, thanks for coming to this impromptu live stream. I actually completely forgot that the debates were tonight. Thanks to Robert for reminding me of that. So we decided to go ahead and do this. So just so everybody knows, we're not going to have the debate on this live stream at all. We're all watching it, and we're going to just discuss it as things are happening and things are being said. If I try to run the debate at all, they're going to... something bad will happen, no doubt. I'm just giving them an excuse at that point, so... Not gonna do that. But so yeah, we just wanted to talk a little bit just before the debate gets started here. Just sort of theorize, predict what they're gonna talk about. One thing I wanted to talk about right off the bat here, let me just adjust this slightly, is that CNN has rigged this debate already. They have set it up so that there will be no more of these questions where people raise their hands. Oh, and we got a super chat. Nice, thanks, Brandon. How ironic that the former mayor of Baltimore name is Pew. After seeing and smelling what she witnessed, Pew, it stinks. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's... Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, she was hilarious, too. So racist.
I know.
Yeah. But, yeah, guys, so what, Robert, do you expect to see? I mean, what are your thoughts on CNN making those changes? I mean, we all know CNN's in the tank, but it's funny to me that they can keep doing these things and still they retain a pretty large chunk of the population that thinks they're trustworthy.
Yeah, I mean, so the big changes for those people that might not know is they're going to do things like they're no longer going to ask the questions where they say, could you raise your hand? The reason for that is they saw that the polling gave them very negative reactions, and CNN isn't interested in actually getting the truth out for people to hear. Instead, they're interested in having the people that they're political actors. They want these people to all do well. So the cat's out of the bag with how radical they all look when they're raising their hand like, yes, I would decriminalize illegal border crossings. Yes, I would give free health care. So they're going to end that, and it's an absolute joke. Now, look, we all know that CNN's going to be a joke anyways, but this just kind of goes to prove. Never forget that we found out from the WikiLeaks in 2016 that people at CNN were feeding questions to their preferred candidate, who was Hillary Clinton. It seems like their preferred candidate is Kamala Harris at this point, so we'll see if she gets... That won't be until tomorrow, but we'll see if she gets special treatment. But yeah, I will say one thing that I will say that maybe would surprise people is I actually don't think Jake Tapper's the worst person in the world. He seems to have a slight bit of integrity. So he might actually try to press people, like when Bernie inevitably says, I want free everything for everyone. He might be like, okay, Bernie, but where are you going to pay? Are you going to raise the middle class taxes? That's something I would look for.
Do you think that?
Well, Bernie said that. Yeah, he said that on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. Jake Tapper was interviewing Bernie Sanders, and he kind of called him out on that. And they flipped to a clip of Biden where Biden said, "Of course you're going to have to raise the taxes on the middle class. That's a fantasy land to think you won't." And Bernie kind of did a little bit of a flip flop. He's like, "Well, yeah, you're going to, but we're going to give you a net positive because." It's going to save you ultimately, $4,000 a year because we're going to raise your taxes to $8,000, and your health care is $12,000, so it's a $4,000 into good. So he kind of already did hit him with that a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, about real quick, not to jump around on the topics here, but talking about Kamala Harris being the favorite. Mm-hmm. Did you guys see that about Zuckerberg? I guess was real close with her during the 2016 election.
Yeah, Zucker, who's the head of CNN. And I think there was something like 11 other basically media CEOs that work at the top, four conglomerates that had donated to Kamala or been buddies with her. I mean, yeah, it's really terrible. Between that and all the evidence coming out, which, I think we'll be talking more as the election goes about the power that places like Google have to influence possibly upwards of 18 million votes, they're now saying. When you see that, it's really frightening because at the same time we're talking about this, the big Democrat talking point is, they just put forth a bill to overturn Citizens United. And for those of you who don't know, that's all about the idea of getting corporate money out of elections, which is fine. Okay, we can have that conversation. But it's ironic they don't talk about the far bigger influence. I mean, Shell or BP could donate to whoever the hell they want. That's going to have far less of an impact than CNN or Google picking a favorite and acting as, basically a campaign contribution to them.
Sorry, I'm watching the debates. It's actually the pre-debates right now. The DNC chair is up right now, really pushing the racism angle. I think that's probably something that we're going to see a lot of. We're
going to see that.
Oh yeah, nonstop talk about Baltimore and how racist Trump is for saying that a city has a rat infestation. Somehow that converts to racism. None of it makes any sense to me.
The way that converts to racism is because the left has converted that to racism. Nobody on the right. Trump didn't come out and say black people were stupid or anything like that. He came out and said your city, and you guys probably know I've been ranting on this the last couple of days on my videos. He came out and said your city is rat infested. Before you go pointing out the problems with the border, why don't you take care of your own place? You've been there since 1996. And then the left takes that and they turn that into racism. I just think people need to start waking up to when the left says you can't criticize somebody because of somebody's policies because of their skin color. Who's the racist then? Is it the one who's criticizing the policies and could care less and isn't mentioning the race or the color, or the people who says you can't criticize that policy because the person who oversees that is black? Who's the most racist in that?
Right. Yeah, they're pretty brazenly using people's skin color as a shield against criticism. And this is I mean they did this with Obama, and it was obvious, it's obvious. Oh, well, they love this black president because now anybody who criticizes him, they're going to call racist, which is exactly what happened. I mean, what's his face when he called Obama a liar? They were relentless on him, and I can't remember his name all of a sudden, but Scott Walker, was that? No, that wasn't Scott Walker, was it?
I don't remember. I know who you're talking about, though.
But they were relentless on him, and it actually turned out that he was right, that because they were talking about healthcare at the time, and so they ended up being right because there were a lot of lies about Obamacare. But they're definitely trying to make it like stigmatized to criticize people within the. Look how diverse we are. Look at all the brown and black people. And if you're criticizing them, obviously you have bad intentions and you have hate in your heart and all this. I mean, that's what we're coming down to. They're trying to demonize their political opposition to such an extent that it's like, oh, well, if you support these people, you're as bad as the monster that we're talking about. It's not good. Well, it's definitely not good.
You see that trending. You see that trending all over Twitter right now that people and all these different pundits and celebrities are saying, if you support Trump, you're a racist too.
Right.
They're just like pushing that divide that you can't. And so it isn't going to just be hate directed at Trump anymore. And it always has been hate directed at all of his supporters. But it's literally full on. You're a racist if you support Trump.
Yep.
And that's true even if you're black. You have a look at somebody like Candace Owens. She's a supporter of Donald Trump, and yet she's called a white supremacist, and people are more than happy to attack her. It's just a pity the left can't apply their logic consistently, isn't it? If they could actually apply their logic and say, if it's wrong to attack people of colour, it's always wrong to attack people of colour, not just to attack our side. That's not really the way they operate.
That's right, and you see, right, this is why you see, and it's constantly with all of these attacks, every time they shout racism or something like that, you can see, one, it's a bigotry of low expectations, and second, it's only a short step to see when they violate their own rules. So we could see Bernie Sanders saying that Baltimore was a third world country. We could see a black mayor of Baltimore saying the same thing. We could see even you get the picture. And it was just like them, make them. That's right.
Rat infested and crime infested.
Right. Remember, Make America Great Again was racist. And then it turned out that was a motto of Bill Clinton's in 96. And then they said, oh, but that's different. Bill Clinton likes black people. And so it's always, with them, it's always they assume that you have evil intent and then use that to decide everything you say is racist. When it should be the opposite. And before people say, oh, yeah, I'm a hack, I'm a Republican, which I am a hack, I am a Republican. But, I've defended people like Omar when people came out and said, oh, everything she says against Israel is anti-Semitic. I was like, hey, I don't know that. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm sick and tired of this culture where anytime anyone says something, both sides are, to the best of their ability, trying to scream racism. Granted, it happens 98% on the left, with the Democrats, but still, we should all be trying to avoid that. And it's so transparent, it's disgusting.
Right. Well, the problem obviously is that there's double standards. We've talked about this. A lot of people are talking about this now, finally. But there's double standards that they basically have standards purely for political expediency that they apply to us, but that they themselves are not expected to adhere to. I mean, this goes way back to the Clinton years. I mean, I remember listening to Rush Limbaugh as a kid and him talking about how these standards were applied. Like, Republicans are held to standards because they have standards, and then the Democrats aren't because they have none. And that was back in the day when the Republicans sort of turned the other cheek, didn't really fight back a whole lot. And we're in a whole other era now, for sure, although Republicans aren't really fighting back. They're all just sort of, except for like Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz and a couple of them, besides them, nobody's really fighting much. They're all kind of hiding out, and Trump's being the guy that's basically leading the charge, and only guy really saying anything or fighting.
Well, and think about this. This is what really gets me the most. Like, I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, whatever. The faux outrage is beyond me. I just don't care. And what really gets me, though, sorry, I'm trying to do something at the same time, but what really gets me is, think if you're someone in Baltimore and you live in that place and it's a mess, and the only time people pay attention to you is to lie and say, oh, the place is great, because they use it as an attack on Donald Trump. And for me, it would be like, listen, we don't care that you're saying nice things about us. That's garbage. We care that our schools suck. I care that I can't let my kids out without them getting shot. I care that we have a drug infestation and rat infestation, and we don't have health care and all this stuff. But instead of dealing with that, we're just going to deal with the fact that Trump called it out. And the other thing is, which I don't hear anyone talking about, and this fires me up more than anything, Donald Trump, what I've heard, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong, I have not heard him attack one single voter or supporter of any of the other candidates or individuals that live in Baltimore or anything. Yet constantly I have to listen to people on CNN and the Democrats tell me that I'm toothless, I'm a racist, I'm in flyover country, I'm a deplorable, I'm stupid, I'm clinging to my guns and Bible. Those are not attacks on a place. That's attacks on me as an individual. Well, somehow Trump just saying the obvious of this place sucks, it's crime and rat infested, that's considered racist. But then constantly saying 50% of Trump supporters are racist. Anyone wearing a MAGA hat's racist. That's allowed to fly. And that aggravates me so much that the Republicans aren't calling that out.
Don't have a stroke, Robert. Don't have a stroke. Calm down for a second, Dad. I totally agree with you, but I'm worried we're going to lose you here if you don't change it.
No. That's just that's my natural talking tone. Trust me.
No, that's a really good point though, because you raise, and I just, you don't hear people, you don't hear Trump attacking people on the left as stupid and these idiots that are supporting this, but you constantly hear that from the left to the right, both from the supporters of the people on the left and the pundits on the left. Constantly, like Cenk Uygur saying anybody who supports Donald Trump is a deplorable racist. Don Lemon, all these other left pundits and whatnot. That's a really good point to make. That you hear that attack coming from the left to the right, but you don't hear it the other way.
And I did a video. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Rachel.
I was going to say Trump needs to tweet out that the supporters of the DNC are all cuts, soy boys, and libtards, and see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fight fire with fire. See how that works for him.
I mean, that's exactly right. And I remember I did a video, maybe I'll link it later. It's not important, but this was from way back when, and I can't remember, some never Trump Republican, some Iraq war shill, Rick something, but he's on CNN with Don Lemon in a panel. You know how they do the panel, like 6 people, and he literally says, like, I'm tired of all these 3-tooth Republican Trump supporting hillbilly, mentally like goes off on this tirade about how we're all racist and stuff, and everyone's Don Lemon and the whole panel's like like yucking it up. Then I gotta watch this clown on CNN whip up some fake tears. Oh my God, Trump said Baltimore's a bad place. Yeah, sorry. Hey, guess what? You want to hear? This was the same discussion we had when Trump. And excuse me for swearing, I don't do it often, but when Trump said that, why do we accept so many people from shithole countries? Remember when he said that?
Yes.
And I remember then saying, like, guess what? I come from a shithole town in rural Pennsylvania. It wouldn't have hurt my feelings for someone to say that and say, we need to help this town out. Everyone's losing their jobs. People are overdosing on opioids. There's a lot of crime going on. That's fine. I don't get personally offended that someone would say it's a crap hole town. I just want them to try to help. But this idea that somehow it's racist, what a joke.
Real quick, I want to show this. You were talking about how this sort of flippant anti-white racism is allowed to just happen. And I'm somebody that's against racism, okay? I don't hate people because of the color of their skin. To me, that's as shallow and idiotic as you can get. But look, you got people like Rosanna Arquette, who isn't that the chick from is she in Pulp Fiction? I don't even remember what the hell she's in, but all of the shooters in America have been white males, white terrorists. The end. What the hell? Like 10,000 likes, almost 3,000 retweets. Like that's so easily debunked.
I would respond to that. All the celebrities that tweet are brainless. The end.
Right.
It's like they're just you're a brainless twat that has a following that you think you're something special because people watch you on a movie screen, or you're paid to fake and act. And then we are supposed to take your nonsense, brainless, mindless, freaking ridiculous tweets that are not based in factual reality at all, and that's supposed to mean something. But the sad part of the matter is, just as we just said, we don't rip on all the people on the left. I'm going to rip on some people on the left a little bit right now. All the majority of these people do on the left is simply read the headlines and read the tweets and then parrot it back without doing any kind of critical research to find out if that crap is true.
Right. That's exactly why if you go to these protests, a lot of these people, they don't like to talk or anything because they get easily caught up. There's a video out there today of one of these people that goes around and interviews, and she's interviewing Elizabeth Warren supporters. And she's at Elizabeth Warren rally, or maybe it could be at the debates because it was today. But she's asking him, like, what has she done that you love her so much? And none of them could answer. I mean, she asked like a dozen people or something. And it's like, none of these people really, they have a very shallow understanding of anything. I don't think they're really into it. They just pretty much go with whatever the flow of the people around them are going with, I guess. I don't know. Hey, thanks for the super chat.
It's unbelievable that she's even a viable candidate for the election, isn't it? I mean, folk are hunters. Like, how can anybody take her seriously? But then having said that, I don't think there's anybody really the DNC have running that you could take seriously, is there? But it just stuns me that someone who lied about their race, to get ahead in their career is a legitimate chance of running for president, presumably based on that lie, because I don't see anything else she's got going for her.
Right, and actually some of the people were saying, one of the reasons they liked her is because she was genuine. It's like, do these people even know like what's going on?
Genuinely fraudulent.
Yeah, and I just want to read out Slam and Brandon. I don't discriminate. I hate everyone equally. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
By the way, I am predicting that Elizabeth Warren will win the Democratic nomination. I think
God. I hope so.
Yeah. I think
I'm really hoping. I'm kind of hoping that Biden does, because then my video might do well.
Yeah, really.
I think Biden's dead in the water. I think the writing's on the wall. As more people, he's the only one who's pretending to be centrist, which he's doing a very poor job of. But even at that, as more people drop out, they're all going to coalesce against a supposed progressive candidate. For real quick, I think the two big things to watch in tonight's debate is going to be this might be the death knell for Bernie Sanders, because I feel that Elizabeth Warren has totally stolen his thunder. She is more articulate. She checks more of the progressive boxes, the cultural Marxist boxes, as she's a woman, she's younger. And I think Bernie lost his chance. I hope he likes that second lake house that he sold out for, because he's never going to be president. And then the other thing to watch is the only other serious candidate is on this stage is Buttigieg, I think. And I think it'll be funny to watch him finally put Beto in his place. Beto's going to try some crazy stuff. He's going to be speaking in Spanish, kneeling during the anthem, talking about George Washington being racist, because he did so bad he needs to be extreme to even make a name for himself here today.
Yeah, they're talking right now. I'm watching. And I just love how they just described Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren as more progressive. She's talking about how those are the two that are kind of rising to the top, and how the electorate is more progressive than they thought. I just love the spin that the left gets. They're not more extreme. Yeah. They're not more left wing. They're more progressive. Oh, how nice!
Right.
I mean, that's the crap we're dealing with here, and we got a self-described communist revolutionary as part of this panel. So Van Jones.
And what's funny is, like, again, I've been trying. So I did a video I met someone on Twitter, very progressive person, which maybe you'll have him on your show at some point. Yeah. But it's an interesting guy. We disagree on 90% of like who we would vote for, I'm guessing. But he's like, here, check out these liberal YouTube personalities. So people like David Pakman and others, and I've been checking them out. And there's some things that they're so disingenuous about. Like, one of them would be, David Pakman's like, it's absolutely absurd that anyone's saying the Democrats are for open borders. But the problem is, you'll never get to hash out in this debate format what exactly they are for. Here's what we do know. They all raised their hand and said they're against they're for decriminalizing crossing the border. They wouldn't deport someone just because they illegally crossed the border. They don't think we should detain people at the border, and we should give them all free health care. So ask yourself, what does that situation mean? That means anyone who comes to the border with a child is allowed in, doesn't get detained, gets free health care while they're here. And it's never a criminal act. It's a civil act. So they have to pay some fine, and they're welcome to stay in the United States. That's open borders. Right, you might not call it that, but that's what it is.
Right, and they don't have any number. If you ask for a number of how many we can take in, they don't have one, because they're for everybody just coming here, apparently. And the thing is you just mentioned, like, the previous debate, they're not going to be raising their hands for anything like that. So right off the bat, we're starting out with a debate that's being deceptive right off the bat, because CNN's trying to cover up, things that are going to make Democrats look bad. So keep that in mind too.
Well, imagine if you're CNN or any of these candidates, you're trying to walk a very fine line, because CNN is just part of the establishment Democratic Party. Let's not kid ourselves. They're not journalists. So what you're trying to do, if you're either of these groups, is you're trying to seem as extreme as possible for this primary, but you also have to try to hide it and give yourself some wiggle room. That way, when it comes to the general election, you could look at moderates and independents and say, oh, no, we weren't as crazy extreme as we really said, while meanwhile winking and nodding at the extreme progressive left, saying, we're just kidding, we actually are as extreme as we said. Well, we just have to lie to get into office. And that's the game they're playing. So when you put people on record and say, raise your hand if you believe X, it makes it very hard to wiggle out of it. We already saw Kamala Harris did. She raised her hand and said, yeah, I'm for decriminalizing, and then came out 2 days later and said, well, actually what I meant was, so they don't want their candidates to get into that trap. So instead, they'll leave them be as vague and ambiguous as possible, so we learn nothing about them, and then they could switch and, slither around to whatever they think is best based on polls to try to win a general election.
Well, and they'll have the media's help in doing that, so it won't be hard. What do you think, Rational? I see you hiding out in the shadows over there.
Yeah, well, I haven't sort of seen a lot of the debating that's going on, in the US. Being in Australia, it's kind of on at a bad time for me. So I'm kind of a little bit limited in what I can add to the discussion. But I do find it interesting that the media are openly and blatantly complicit in the attempt by the sort of radical section of the DNC to mask their agenda, which is a pretty obvious agenda anyway.
Well,
but it's just a really fascinating thing looking at it from the viewpoint of an outsider. You're watching this group of people, the Ilhan Omar types and AOC and those kinds of people who seem to be taking control of the party, but their intent could only be seen as being nefarious. They don't seem to have any valid interest in assisting the United States in any way, unless you consider the United States to be everyone not living in America. Yeah. That seems to be their definition of what the United States is. Everyone that's outside of America, they're more interested in helping them than they are in helping the American people. It's why I think it's talking about Donald Trump being a racist for mentioning, the rats in Baltimore. It's because it is actually highlighting the fact that there are real American people with real problems, and that they don't want people discussing that. To me, they are really insidious human beings. I think that of the Democrats and CNN and MSNBC and that anyway, but just a little bit I've seen of what's going on with this election, it really is bringing that to the forefront. And you would have to think there would have to be people who are centrist and moderate. Like in a lot of ways, I'm still on the left. And I look at these people and I'm appalled by them. And you'd have to think that the centrist types on the left would be sort of looking at these people with the same kind of horror that I look at them with, if they have any kind of a broader understanding of geopolitics at all, wouldn't they?
Right.
Like it has to be a losing tactic for the Democrats, you would think.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope.
I say this all the. So my guy that ran my campaign when I ran for Congress, he's a Democrat, and he's someone who finds Trump to be a very unappealing character, and he's been a lifelong Democrat. But he's willing to. He's a moderate, and I'm talking to him. He's like, I have no idea who to vote for because the Democrats are becoming so extreme. He just wants the party of, hey, we're looking out for the working class. We're socially liberal. We're for gay rights. That's basically where I'm at, too. It's just, what do you call yourself, Republican or Democrat? And you're absolutely right, Rational. This is something we're seeing worldwide, by the way, in first world countries. One of the things that, I talk about is the United States had this entire idea of being a melting pot where we, other than the Native Americans, we didn't have a nationalized population. We brought in people from all over the world. So in order to have a population like that, you have to have something that brings you together. And we're starting to see this in the EU and Australia and other places. We have a lot of diverse people from diverse backgrounds. So what does it mean to be American? What does it mean to be Australian? And you have to have things that you're all striving for. To me, to be American
values and goals.
Personal liberty, right? Responsibility, freedom, liberty, things like that. When you have one party that the leaders of those parties, or at least the most vocal people that are steering the policy directions, hate this country. They say it is racist, it's terrible. The people that are here aren't as American as the illegal immigrants that are trying to get in. How can you sustain yourself as a country? Because we don't have that thing holding us together anymore. And that's what the idea of globalization is. They don't like nationalists. They don't want an Australian nationalist. They don't want a United States nationalist. They don't want a UK nationalist. They hate Brexit. And it's because they want a world where there are no borders, because they want to basically be an extreme upper class and everyone else lower class dependent on.
Yeah, I think that's it. We are involved in a race war, in a class war more than a race war. And I think the media kind of highlighting race and that type of thing just distracts us from what is really going on. Like the globalists are not on the side of the left at all, even if the left are on the side of the globalists because they don't understand economics and they don't understand the political theory that they adhere to. This is actually not really a race-based issue. This is a class thing, and the people on the left who are celebrating every time that somebody like us gets silenced do not understand that the silencing will come back on them eventually, because the people that are doing the silencing are not on the left. Corporate tech is not left-wing.
And I don't want to jump around here too much, but I think what we're going to see tonight, we're already seeing it, is on CNN they have like former Clinton officials on here talking about, Republicans that don't get in line with our way of seeing things don't have a moral backbone. Look, this is what we're dealing with.
Well, I think it speaks volumes about a couple things. One, the difference between Democrats and Republicans right now. One, about the president's judgment He just doesn't understand what well-loved and iconic figures people like Elijah Cummings and John Lewis are and their history.
They're above criticism
anytime. And it says, it speaks volumes about the Republican Party. It's a pretty simple equation. These guys are afraid of the president. And what they're afraid of more than anything is his Twitter account. They are afraid that he will go after.
Well, anyway, I mean, they trot out these Democrats on these supposed news networks to go on there and then just use the power of the media to try and strong-arm people into not voting for Trump. I mean, that's all that is. It's like shaming them, a national shaming. You're a racist if you don't fall into line with what we believe. This is not going to end well for this country. It just won't. And I think it's just like what SJG, you're on, man. Hey.
Sorry, no, I just got home. I'm gonna jump off and watch the stream. I just got home and I got to check with my wife. But I love you guys, and I will be just real quick. I'll be gone this week. I'm going camping, but I might awesome. Log in and do a video. So
do it, man.
Anyways, I'll see you guys later.
Peace out. Take it easy. Have fun,
guys.
So yeah, the debate is about to start. I think we're going to stay on here and just sort of try and talk about it as it goes. We might have to stop talking for a second to listen to certain things, but we cannot play the stream. It'll get shut down, or I'll get a copyright strike or something. So we're not going to do that. But
and I promise. I know I'm the mouthiest one. I'm going to try to listen while and not talk much while they're talking. But for those of you, I don't have cable, so they have a live stream for free on CNN.com that you could watch along with us if you want.
Go to CNN.com and watch it. Rational, you can watch it too, bro. Yeah. Let's see here.
Yep. Right now they're just it's just the intro, but
yeah. Hey, I wanted to show this, not to get back to the race thing, but did you see where and I hate talking about this stupid show, but on The View, Joy Behar. So the other day she was on there and she said, "Oh, black people can't be racist. Only white people can be racist." And I wonder if she identifies as white or Jewish. And I'm not saying this is like I love Jewish people. I have nothing against them, but I like Walter Cronkite when he's doing that famous interview with Morgan Freeman, and he's like, "Oh, do you want a white month?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not white, I'm Jewish." And I'm like,
right.
I'm like, what? And I just wonder if Joy Behar identifies as white or Jewish. I'm guessing Jewish because she's just like constantly saying stupid crap like this. But she basically
don't
she said
forget.
that you can't be racist to white people. And hold on, I just want to show this real quick. She doubled down on it.
When I talk about racism, I talk about a system of racism in this country that affects housing, that affects politics, that affects education. It's a system of racism. And if you are a minority in this country, you are more a victim of racism. So it's hard to be a racist when you are a victim of racism. Yeah. That's my point.
Well, that's right.
And I can't play a whole lot more there, but she basically just says that they've redefined racism, because she straight up says, "Oh, that's the very definition of racism." No, it isn't at all. It's not this SJW. It's a system of power, and I mean, Cummings has power. He has way more power than any of us. Like, so this is a faulty definition to begin with. But it just really chaps my ass that these women get to go on national TV and just make declarations like that. And I don't think McCain pushed back at all. I can't stand McCain. I can't. By the way, she's just so like, she doesn't actually have any core beliefs. I don't think. She just goes wherever the money will take her, and what her dad's legacy, wherever that will take her.
I'm pretty sure that Barack Obama would have more power than somebody like me too, for that matter. You know.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And they even talk about that. Because they talk about, oh, well, once black people are in control of everything, then maybe they can be racist. And Whoopi's like, "Oh, we almost did that," or something like that. It's like, what are these people talking about? Like,
I did basically a 7-hour live stream on this question.
Yeah, I mean, right.
It's
very, very simple. If you have core principles, it's very simple. You treat people like you want to be treated, and you don't like judge or broadly generalize people based on nothing but their skin color. You don't demonize people on those traits, and it doesn't matter what skin color you are, and that's easy. You just treat everybody the same. But no, these people have rationalized, oh no, we need some way to get payback. And so, I mean, that's the only logical explanation I can come up with. But they are introducing. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, the entire idea, in a nutshell, it's this. It's even if your argument is that racism has to be prejudice plus power, then you still make the mistake of assuming that that's a stable dynamic when it's not, because we could look at every position, just race, for example, and see that in some areas that race actually does have power, in other areas it's actually victimized. So, for example, if I'm black, yes, I probably do get incarcerated at higher rates than whites. You could say I don't have power in that example. But if I'm attending a school and I have the same grades as someone who's white or Asian, then I'm advantaged to be black. And that's just at a group-based level. Then when you look at individual levels, you have people like you were saying, Elijah Cummings or Barack Obama. How are they victims of racism when they have all this power? And it skirts the real issue, which is all racism means is that you're prejudging people in a negative way based on the immutable characteristic of race. And so when all this is a transparent attempt to try to justify people's own racism. And it's because, as you say correctly, it's not about achieving equality for a lot of these people. It's about achieving revenge. And so they say, we don't like white people, or we don't like people that are Native Americans, as people that were born in America, or we don't like Christians, or we don't like straight people, etc. And it's okay to be bigoted against them. That's what it's all about.
Right. You're absolutely right. And, that's one of the things at a young age that really started to push me away from the left, because I started out a pretty left-wing guy. And that was one of the things, because it was just such a glaring hypocrisy. And it's like, okay, well, if you can be okay with this, then I'm not okay with that ideology, and in a lot of ways I'm not okay with a lot of ideology on the right either. Like you guys, I see myself more as, I kind of meld in the, not really the center, maybe lean right, but not all right wingers are bad guys. That just means we diverge from the left on some things.
Well, my ideas are all over the place. It depends on what you're looking at. If you look at economics, I have some very left-wing ideas. I think that the government does have a role to play in the economy. When it comes to social things, I kind of agree with the idea that we need to have welfare, but I think that we need to have welfare that's kind of limited, because you don't want to create, like in Australia, we have welfare for life. So we have people who are generationally on welfare, generationally in poverty. And
that's not sustainable.
It's an awful... No, not only is it unsustainable, it is completely destructive for the people that are in that community. I've seen, just through my work, I've had the ability to have a look at some of these areas where you have generational welfare, and it is just horrendous, the damage that it does to people. So I think we need to have welfare, but there needs to be some kind of a system set up where people are working or engaging in something for that welfare, not just as we have it here, the welfare for nothing thing. So, a lot of people would say that that's on the right. So I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sort of a very much pro-free speech, bit of a libertarian, but think that the government has a role to play in the economy. So centralist, I guess you would say. I'm certainly not on the right, but you talk to the average lefty and they call me a Nazi anyway,
Right. Are you watching this right now, Robert? Do you know if what they're doing right now, is this normal?
No.
It seems ridiculous. Like I don't know. I don't know what they're doing right now with the people marching in there, but oh man, let me get off. There we go. Sundown, kill the mics, bro. Why? What's going on? Can you guys hear this? Can you hear the TV? You shouldn't be able to. So yeah, they are getting ready for the grand debate. Buttigieg is looking like Napoleon with his hand sort of tucked in his suit, his coat. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, I guess because his hand's just on his heart, but it's just funny because it's like tucked under like Napoleon.
Who's the guy with his hands over his groin?
Yeah, what is that about? You don't have to put your hand over your heart, but that's de Blasio. Everybody hates him.
I guess you put your hand over what matters to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody hates him anyway, so it's okay. I'm surprised they even did this. Wow. One thing that really bugs me is how the left continually gets to tie the Republicans to Russia. And I get that Russia's not communist anymore, but it's, you know, historically, it's always been the left and the Democrats who have been really closely tied to, you know, the Soviet Union and into communism in general. You know, I always like to point out, if you want to find hammer and sickle flags, just go to a Democrat rally. You're going to find them.
Yeah, absolutely. I still think that the Russians were working with the DNC. You know, like, you have a look at the damage that's been done to the United States. It's been done by the DNC, not by the Republicans.
By their own standards.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if Putin was working with the Clintons, that this was a little bit of a double operation, you know?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me if they're just dupes. They're being duped. Because you're right. It's like when you talk about destruction to the democracy by Hillary Clinton's own standards, simply by challenging election results, was attacking the democracy. Yet what have they done? Non-stop for 2 years. They've assaulted it. By their own standards, they're assaulting democracy. But
I just wanted to say real quick, that was the reason they did the national anthem. There was one of the big criticisms in the first two debates was they didn't even have an American flag. So I was trying to be quiet during the anthem, but that's what it was about, in my opinion.
So they're really tweaking the optics. Exactly. They're really tweaking the optics this time around, guys.
Right.
This is a real trustworthy debate. It's on the up and up. Nobody's getting funneled questions. You don't got to worry about that. No biased debate. Moderators who are going to ask very slanted questions from the perspective of a left-winger. I guarantee the last debate was like that. I'll have to pull it up here, but the previous debate was something like 75 to 85%, you know, left-wing perspective questions, and then a couple kind of center ones, and then there was a very small spattering from the right. But it's going to probably be worse than that this time around, my guess. We're at commercial.
So you think they're going to work the patriotism angle in this one?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
they got to.
They have to sort of show that they're, you know, good Americans in inverted commas, that they try to tear the country down.
Rational, are you aware of everything going on with Baltimore and all that?
I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah, I've kind of been busy the last couple of days, but yeah, I saw Trump's tweet, and I've seen the media try to spin that as him being racist, as, you know, people are sort of running around trying not to get chewed on by rats, while they say that, you know, Donald Trump was actually right in what he was saying, that it is a rat infested.
And it's not new either. It's been said by many people, including Cummings himself, the mayor of
Bernie
Baltimore,
Sanders,
and all that. But you can guarantee, my point is, you can guarantee that's going to be a focus tonight. They're really going to, I bet you're going to hear a lot of, Republicans must stand up to racism, or else they are themselves complicit in racism. I bet you hear that a lot. You might hear this whole, you know, Robert wants me to do this video where I go through the Mueller hearing, and clip out all the times the Democrats said, you know, no one is above the law, and then, you know, match that with all the times that they are above the law. But you know, it's sort of the same thing here. Let me see.
Yeah. You're going to, what you were saying, Dronetek, about the Baltimore thing. They'll try to smear Trump as being anti-American because there are places in America that he hates because he's a racist, and we love all of America. That's the message.
They're really going to play up how much they love black and brown people and all that kind of stuff. I hope if you hear the term black and brown bodies, I bet you $20 somebody is going to say black and brown bodies. What did that say?
Are they going to talk about their love for the flyover country in the United States?
They won't say a word. No, they'll ignore them. Just like they'll only talk about that when they're there trying to get votes. Just like they only talk about the African American community every 2 years to try to get votes and things like that. But full disclosure for me, I actually don't like any of the 10 on stage today. I don't mind Gabbert and Yang, but they're going to both be there tomorrow night. So I don't know. I think this is just going to be
you know what? Yang, for me, I don't really know that much about him. I got to say, what I've seen of him is likable. He's a likable guy, obviously, but I don't trust him at all. Anybody who's like, I'm going to give you $1,000 a month for doing nothing, like, that just seems like huckstery to me. You know, yep. I get it, you call it a living wage, and you got all this rationale for it. Personally, you know, I think that's something more for once we reach the level of Star Trek, you know, the next generation. Once we reach that level, we'll talk about living wages, or when robots replace humans everywhere.
So, yeah, I'm going to try to be as quiet as possible when they're talking. You guys can do what you want, but I know I have a tendency to just ramble on. So
yeah, well, I want to talk I don't want people to not be completely dead air. I think before, it's like we actually had the video playing, and people wanted to hear it, you know. That's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. I used to love the movies when I was a kid, and I got mad at the riffs.
So what are people on the live stream seeing? Are they just seeing us?
They're just seeing us, yeah. I can't play the video. Yeah, I can't play the live stream. It's too risky. Back in the day, I would have done it, but not today. They'll get me. They're looking for any reason to get me.
Right, so we have to run the fine balance between speaking enough to not make it boring, but not speaking too much that we can't figure out what these guys are saying.
Right, yeah. Originally, we were just going to cut it once this started and then come back later, but I'm like, screw it. Let's just live stream. People can watch or they don't want to, whatever. I can't guarantee it's going to be that entertaining. We'll see. Maybe Robert, Ration needs to drink a little bubbly. You're like, no, it's a little early for me.
Yeah. It's well, yes, it's early, sort of mid-morning here now. So
they're watching the live stream too. So maybe we should be quiet. This chick. She's really pale. She's really pale. Really white.
Who's she?
She just kind of came out of the woodwork. I don't really know much about her. She's not as left-winger. I think she's capitalist, declared capitalist.
Okay.
So she's not a socialist. She's got that going for her.
She's like a love guru writer.
Yeah.
She thinks love will solve everything.
Oh, right. I was going to say she looked like someone who came from disreputable films from about 15 or 20 years ago.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes. I think you're right on about that. Yeah. That was like a commercial. God, these people are all so boring compared to Trump.
She didn't say anything.
Yeah, she said that. These people are all great at flapping their lips and saying nothing.
Yeah, Delaney's actually a capitalist.
Those guys are going to be in the Republican Party before. I don't know what's going to happen in the Republican Party. It might split into two. You have no chance, bro. Get your purple tie out of here.
No, he sounds too sane.
Take your purple tie and get out of here.
And this is the guy that got booed for being against Medicare for all at a town hall.
He's way too moderate for this group.
Yeah, exactly.
You got no chance, bro. And you're white. You're the wrong color.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't de Blasio.
He's in the wrong party, isn't he?
That's Tim Ryan. I called him de Blasio earlier. That's Tim Ryan. Derp. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy.
Real solutions, not impossible promises. Well, he's not a Democrat at all, is he?
Oh God, I'm so tired of hearing that. 2 or 3 jobs to get by. Like, what kind of like mongoloid type person are we talking about here? Like, who has to work that many jobs just to get by? Like, how many freaking kids do you have? You have 30 kids? You should be able to get by on 1 or 2 jobs, like you and your spouse, or your own job. One job will do it. Live within your means.
If they start using butter instead of caviar to spread on their toast, they might be able to get by with one job.
Right, but you can't say that anymore because that's like shaming or something. I don't know. God,
it's wealth shaming.
Yeah, it's a virus that's spreading and it's gonna kill us.
In their defense, it's really hard. I had to do this when I was running for Congress, to sum yourself up in 1 minute like this.
Oh, yeah. It's not easy.
Gee, I reckon I could do that. I'm pro-freedom, I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-America, and Democrats are idiots. That's it. That took
if you don't
about
like
10
that,
seconds.
then suck my balls. Sundown 220. That's such an Australian joke. Butter on caviar? Haha. What the fuck? have another Foster and go punch a kangaroo.
Aussies don't drink Fosters. Terrible stuff. We just sell it to Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's hilarious. This guy, Hickenloper. What's wrong with all these people? Have weird ass last names, by the way. Have you noticed that? They all have just weird. I'm not one to talk with mine, but Kolbajar, Hickenloper. We have to beat Donald Trump. You don't have a chance, lady. None of these people have a chance, as far as I can tell. Maybe Warren. I feel like Warren almost has a chance, but the whole lying about an Indian her whole life, like that seems to be like that's gonna haunt her. Maybe not.
Warren, Buttigieg have the best chance out of this crowd.
No, not Buttigieg.
And Bernie.
Buttigieg is polling like 0, I think, right now. Or no, zero with black voters, which might as well be 0.
But he's got the entertainment industry on his side. So.
Yeah, well, I hope not. I hope he doesn't get in because he's towing all this ridiculous leftist race. You know, watch out for whites. Whites are the threat. I keep seeing the stuff like that, like, oh, whites commit the most terrorist attacks, right-wing attacks. I'm like, what attack? What are you talking about? Like, that they're talking about gang violence is what they're talking about, ultimately. Why don't we count all gang violence as terrorism? Oh, Beto.
Because that doesn't fit the narrative.
Right. It cracks me up how they manipulate. America's fine as it is. It doesn't need to be redeemed. These people hate this country, is what it gets down to. They hate what it is.
Don't forget when you're listening to Beto here, he actually went across the border and helped illegals come over.
Right.
He's got to get his voters from somewhere, I suppose.
He's also an excessive liar. He's on multiple occasions claimed that Trump called immigrants an infestation and animals, both a lie. He claimed that he's the Fourth Reich and all this kind of crap. He's a nut. So is Butt Keg. Oh, God. It's an emergency that we're not in power, guys. We lost the election. It's a conspiracy. Always. Every time. What up, Skinny Pimp? Skinny Pimp. What's up, bro? Hey, guys, not to talk over the stream real quick. I just want to remind everybody I am going to be in Cincinnati Thursday. So look for me on Livestream. I plan on live streaming a lot. I'm going to record. Unfortunately, I was supposed to have a cameraman and security. I'm pretty sure both canceled. I might have one of them. We'll see. If not, I'm going alone. Fuck it.
So what are you live streaming at again? You did say, but...
It's a Trump rally in Cincinnati, Ohio. August 1st, Thursday. I know there's going to be multiple protests going on. Antifa almost certainly going to be there. I've been threatened. You know, when I went to Kentucky and to Covington, I was threatened with Antifa that's from that area. So they might, you know, for all I know, they know I'm going to be there and they're going to be looking for me. Watch. It might be fun to watch.
Just look out for cement milkshakes coming your way.
Yeah, well, I'm not fucking scared of these fucking pussies. I'll take them all. They might beat my ass. I'm not scared of them. Oh, here we go with Sacagawea. As we listen to the wealthy and well-connected make declarations like this to us. I'm so sick of these people. It's like they have their targets. They are all the things they're targeting, but they act like they're not. Like they're white. They attack, you know, whites are dangerous and they're after you. They attack the wealthy and the powerful. They are wealthy and powerful. They're just trying to like insulate themselves from the mob, I guess.
See, let me say on Warren's behalf, at least she comes up with policies, and some of the stuff she says about multinational corporations, I agree with. It's just a shame that she's a progressive hack,
Yeah. Yeah. Something about her really rubs me the wrong way. Especially the whole claim to be Native American. That's weird. That's like something you do. I remember when I was a kid, and we have we're German background, but we actually have some Filipino. And I remember telling people, like, when I was a kid, when I was real little, oh, I'm Filipino, I'm half Filipino. Of course, that's ridiculous. But, like, what makes that happen? Because that happens to a lot of people where they don't want to be white.
Right.
To me, I always point to that. I'm like, there's a reason for that. We're not as privileged as we get accused of being.
I like how Bernie's jowls wiggle when he starts shaking.
Oh, God. He's so old. What? I don't understand the support for him from the left. I don't get it.
If you were the vice president, you could understand supporting him, I suppose, because you're a fair chance of getting in if he's probably not going to survive his term, is he?
It's like a game of Survivor. They're going in for the final two, and he plans on winning the vote at the end. Oh, God, Jake Tapper. I hate that guy. He really plays up the I'm a hardline, just the facts man journalist. He's not at all. He's a hack. He sprinkles in little things that he can always point to and be like, oh, I'm not biased. It's bullshit. What?
Yeah, CNN crowd, real unbiased.
All right, yeah.
It's just sad that people actually buy that crazy kind of rhetoric, really.
It's just like as we add more millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people from South America, Central America, they're all coming up. We have our own poor we're just going to have an increasing amount of takers and fewer paying into it. This is not going to work. I don't understand who could cheer that on unless you're just so you're just so dumb and you're so used to everything being given to you that you just expect that that's what should happen. In that video I was talking about earlier, I can't remember her name, the chick with the hair and the gun from Kent State. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, she was interviewing people, and none of these people knew anything about Warren. And all they knew of her is that she was promising free things. Oh, we get free college. She's like, oh, well, I don't know why I support her, but I'm going to be going to college soon, and she wants free college. It's like, yeah, we're in the future presidential debates are just going to be about who is promising what free stuff to the masses that are just, the government-dependent masses. God.
Yeah, Delaney was absolutely right there. You want to try to get universal health care without Medicare for all. Eliminating private insurance is suicide, and it'll crush the Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have universal health care here, and it is rapidly turning into a disaster. So if you want to see a dentist here in Australia, unless it's a real emergency, you're going to be waiting for well over 2 years to see one. So if you've got a hole in a tooth, unless it's unbearable agony, you're going to be waiting a couple of years. You go to a clinic to see a doctor, you can be sitting in there for hours. It's just pot luck. You might get in to see a doctor within a couple of hours. You've got, because the government subsidised everything, doctors are paid a huge amount of money, so they then accumulate in the cities because they're the only people who can afford to live in our major cities. And so doctors don't want to work out in the country. So it just becomes a disaster. Prescriptions are the price is skyrocketed. So, if you do have to pay for your medication, it's just astronomical. So, the system, it was good, but it worked because we had a small population and we didn't have a high demand on our medical services. But that's changed because we have immigration, we have higher unemployment, so we have greater demand for services. And so it's just becoming more and more dysfunctional. It's not a good system. It doesn't work.
Yeah. God, she really bugs me. She just seems so fake to me. She reminds me a lot of Hillary.
I must be a long way behind you guys because Bernie and some other dude are arguing about free Medicare. Yeah. Or free healthcare, sorry.
Good question by Tapper.
Pay less. Like how much less? My guess is it's not much, and then it'll go back up again. I just want to say something else real quick, and I'm sorry to talk over this, guys, but okay, I won't go on a long rant. I'm sorry.
Warren skirted the question. She didn't answer if it would increase taxes on the middle class, but she's smart to humanize with this story here, even though I'm not impressed.
Well, she said at the beginning that people will pay less out of pocket, which I think it's her. That's what I was saying. Like, that's such an ambiguous thing to say. Like,
oh, I've lost the stream of the debate. Oh no, it's back.
Good job, Jake.
He pressed her on it, but not like it matters. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a flash in the pan kind of a moment, and it won't matter later, I don't think. Because it's going to be CNN and these other networks that had a holder to it. Do you think they will? No. Of course not.
Yeah, what she just said without saying it is your taxes will go up.
Yeah, they're going to go up. Exactly. They have to. And you know what else is going to happen? The more and more that happens, the more we get socialized, there's going to be less money put into R&D, and medical advances are going to slow down to nothing, to a crawl. And people remember back in the old heydays when we had all these amazing medical advancements coming out all the time. That guy didn't get to say much.
I might have to drop out, guys, because I keep losing the stream. I don't think my internet is functioning all that well at the moment. That happens
maybe
occasionally.
Watch it and come back when it's over.
Yep. Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
All right. I'll catch you later, guys.
Later.
Take it easy, man.
Did you see that, Robert? Someone said CNN said that people are. Someone said people are getting copyright strike.
Yeah, it's weird.
I made the right choice.
Yep. Absolutely. Just real quick, Buttigieg and all of them that are against what Warren and Bernie are saying are going to win this battle, because if you get rid of people's private health insurance, you will upset so many moderates and independents that are in the middle class.
Yep, that's true. Good point. You know, the irony is that Democrats won't work on this if Trump wins. They won't care about any of this stuff. All they'll focus on is torpedoing Trump. Thanks, Crypto Man. Really appreciate it, bud. I'm trying to get more work into it. I'm watching 2 kids now every day. I'm the stay-at-home dad, so I'm trying to working on videos, doing everything I need to do, and that. It's not easy. I'm getting kind of into a flow. Hopefully I'll be pumping out content daily here soon. Right now it's like every other day or every 3 days.
At least they're arguing.
Yeah, we do. We have medical advancements. That's what we have to show for it. So he's wrong. Let me show you all something. Look at that. Just, won't you look at it? Not the advertisement, but that's where all the medical advancements are coming from. They're coming from us. That includes drugs. It's because we have money to dump into it. It's a good thing. Oh man, I didn't even... Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, Beto's right to not want to kick all private off, but he's a liar when he said it wouldn't raise taxes on the middle class.
That's where medical advancements are coming from, folks. They're coming from the United States, nowhere else. There are, but nothing compared to what we're doing. These people are talking about taking money out of that. That right there is just going to drop lower and lower and lower and lower until it's right there. Mark my words. He's so cartoonish. I really don't get why people support him. Oh my god, why is Felch messaging me? I want to thank my super chatters tonight so far. Slam and Brandon donated 7, and Druzinator donated 5. Thanks, bud. I really appreciate it. I'll put it towards my trip to Cincinnati on Thursday. Your question is a Republican talking point. Oh. Jake Tapper asked a critical question. That's a Republican talking point. Oh my god. It makes me fucking ill, man.
Yeah.
Sundown, Jake Tapper is now racist. I think you're right. Ah, got him.
Get him, Delaney. Absolutely right.
Bernie's tie sucks, man. I like the purple tie compared to Bernie's tie. Some real hard-hitting analysis right here, right now. Those glasses.
And again, I'll just say here real quick, like a lot of the people might not want to hear this. I think that most of these Democrat plans suck. But what are the Republicans offering? And that's why the CNN's smart to lead with this issue, because healthcare is a big issue to a lot of people. And the Republicans ran on repealing Obamacare and basically haven't done crap.
It's true. Well, I mean, they have pushed for like being able to buy insurance across borders and stuff like that, but I think that is a big thing that needs to happen. But
oh yeah,
because I would think that would lower prices just through competition alone. Seems like a pretty good idea. And this, I thought the health savings account that Bush tried to push, I thought those were a good. That's what Israel does, and it works out great for Israel.
Yep.
I don't know if it would definitely work here, but.
Oh yeah, premiums are down, sundown. You're right, but still, they haven't given. They need to have a specific plan to how they're going to make things better. And I think what you're talking about, Dronetek's correct. Now, I just want to point out real quick as well. Notice they've gone to Warren 5 times. This is the first time for Marianne Williamson, so you can kind of get an idea of what CNN, who they're trying to gear you towards.
Right. This is, folks. This is a charade. It is. It's just pure. I don't know if I call it. It is propaganda, but I mean, it's more like Robert just said. They're trying to steer people to certain candidates. You are socialists. You're right. You're socialists. Just be open about it. Later, shutdown man. Later, Gator. Thank you. Let's be clear, God. I hate hearing that. I always know it's not going to be clear.
Buttigieg is talented, though. He is. He's a good BSer. He's a good politician, and he's smart.
Yeah.
Compare that to Bernie. Bernie's has one talking point.
He is, yeah, he's a cartoon. The wagging finger. He's really got the wagging finger going there. Whoosh, whoosh. I'm going to take that footage and put in a whip sound every time he does that. That's coming in the next video, maybe. All right, I'll be right back.
No problem.
I'm not showing the event at all, guys. I should not have to worry about it. I'll be right back. Hey, Jen, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Tim Ryan, again, is right. I'm not saying I agree with these plans, but it is a losing. The Democrats will lose if whoever they nominate recommends removing private insurance. This is all utopian. That's right.
Ugh. Yeah, you know, guys, it's like that's going on with Bernie, but what does it matter? Do you think CNN has made an issue of it? Do you think CNN will ask him about it tonight? I don't know. I doubt it, but maybe Tapper will, but I doubt it. You got to think, these guys and their negatives, don't really matter that much. They matter for us because they amplify them on a daily basis, but not for these guys. No, you don't want nonprofit. God, if we go that, all those people cheering, you know what they're cheering? Mediocrity and regressiveness, because that's where we're headed. We're heading towards Venezuela. There needs to be some profit motive in there to drive innovation, drive exploration. It wasn't odd.
That's right. And Dronetek, what you put up earlier about innovations, that's why the U.S. is so innovating in medical techs, because it's so profitable. And this is what the socialists always ignore. They ignore the profit motivation. And that's why our healthcare system would collapse if we just say everyone's on an equal playing field, we'll all pay for it.
No. It's a crisis now. This is such BS, but you're right. He is a good BSer. What? It went on for 8 years under Obama, folks. It's going to go on for another 8 years.
That's not true.
I'm sorry?
No, Buttigieg just lied at the end there. It's the exact opposite. It's the Democrats that allowed it to become a crisis, voted against sending money to these facilities. So he's lying. So in other words, he said it should be illegal civilly. That means you pay a fine. That means he just said open borders. If you come across, you're allowed to stay, you pay a fine.
Right. You're going to pay a fine, but you might as well come. You're basically paying to get into the country. You're paying a fee to get into the country. We're Cedar Point. A big Cedar Point, basically. Come on in.
So there you go for beta. Open borders, don't hold people in detention facilities, give money to the countries the illegals come from. That's open borders.
Yep, it is, absolutely.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's not. What does that mean? I am living my values. I don't know what she's talking about. I live in a house with locked doors, just like her. I believe in locking borders.
So she's against detention. Do people understand what they're saying? She's saying the reason that we because we detain people, that allows families to be separated. Then that's open borders. Anyone who gets here is allowed to come through.
She just said she's for decriminalizing So I'm pretty surprised she actually said that. So I'm surprised CNN pressed her on it. Gabriel Swift said, "No border, no country." Absolutely. Benjamin, it is green crack. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'll put that towards the beer when I go to the Trump rally on Thursday. And I'll drink it on the live stream just for you.
So Klobuchar wants universal health care, wants to lower the deficit, and wants to allow open borders. How does that even make sense?
It doesn't. Is it just me, or are they cutting off all these other people? They pretty much let Elizabeth Warren go for a while before they cut her off.
Oh, Bernie says racism.
That's a Republican talking point. Oh, racism. Take a drink. We're playing the drinking game. Racism is a word.
There you go. Open border. Bernie, so far we're 5 for 5. Open borders. He just said if you walk thousands of miles, you're not a criminal. Got it. Open borders.
If they come in the border illegally, yes, they are. If they come and they're not actual, none of these people are asylum seekers. Not none of them, but very few of them are. Yeah, who's organizing them? Who's feeding them on the way?
Right, and here we go. Another I hate America. It's up to America to rebuild Guatemala, Honduras. This is garbage. There are people we just saw in Baltimore. There are people, we have veterans that can't get health care. And Bernie wants to give everyone in the world free health care and fix every other country in the world.
Hey, like I said, I am going to the Trump rally on August 1st. And I'm going to be live streaming. I'm going to encounter Antifa and all kinds of protesters. If you guys want to try to help me pay for that trip, feel free to super chat me. I appreciate it. And absolutely go over to Robert's channel and subscribe, because he doesn't have 1,000 subscribers yet. I thought he did. He deserves more than that. So go subscribe to Robert's channel, and I will put a link in channel. The media and the Democrats are ripping apart the country. I want opportunities for Americans.
Yeah. This is nonsense. They're saying we can't enforce the law because that helps Trump.
Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks, Benjamin. I really appreciate it, buddy. Make sure to tune in for that live stream. Definitely gonna have a beer on you. What? No. Oh, look, folks. Obama. Look it up. Obama split up multiple tens of thousands of families and his deportations. Look it up. None of these people cared. What you're seeing now is just people using a situation that's not really our fault. We're being invaded by human waves.
I just want to say, you'll hear all the Democrats say after this, no one's saying open borders. Now, so far, only this governor from Montana said, look, you can't decriminalize crossing the border. Of course, he's a psycho and says Trump's a racist while he's talking about it. But listen to Warren here. Listen to all them. They're saying we have to decriminalize. We can't detain. That's terrible. That's open borders.
Yeah, absolutely. What?
Absolutely right, Tim.
No, it's called the Flores decision. No. It's still gonna happen. Unless you let the people right on into the country. If you detain them at all, they're gonna get separated. F. Raid said, I'm from Quebec, Canada. Do you think that you should build a wall to your northern border as well? Well, we're not having millions of people flow in from Canada. So, no.
I agree. There you go. Bernie just said healthcare to it's legal for anyone to enter our country. It won't be criminal. And that it's a human right to have to provide them with all healthcare. That means billions, anyone, anywhere in the world could fly in on a jet, say, hey, I want my appendix taken out. And you, the taxpayer, pay for it.
We, the people, are on the hook. Because we're just an endless cash cow for these people, apparently. That's all they see us as. These people live in a different universe than us, and they obviously see us as, like, cattle. Or, it's weird how they're, like, trying to bring in all these people to... Because it's obvious they're going to vote for them. Because they're fleeing from countries with policies that these people are selling, which boggles the mind. Like, why would you support what is failing in your country? But that's what's happening. Oh, here we go. He's going to talk about white men. Well, there was lots of other shootings, too, in Detroit, in Chicago, and Baltimore. Well, it's hit lots of communities. Why does only your community matter? Right? I mean...
Yep.
Okay, well, the first shooting that they or the second shooting they mentioned, the guy bought the gun legally, had a background check. So, I say arm more people. Excuse me. This is all acting, folks. These people all deserve Oscars.
Notice how they let Pete and all these big name people go over.
Hey, if anybody wants to call in, feel free. I suppose you gotta put your email. I'm not really sure how to do that. I've never really done that. Not sure how people call in. Taking on the NRA.
So, yeah, and... Well, let's hear what Klobuchar says. Yeah, okay, so she's just going to say it's all the NRA, it's the NRA. First, the NRA is defending our Second Amendment, which I totally support. Second, everything they talk about, they're liars. They always want to go further, because if they're really serious about ending gun violence, the majority of gun violence occurs through handguns, which are semi-automatic weapons.
Yep.
And so they always say, oh, no, we don't want to touch them. But they do. Every time that a shooting happens, they say, but how would all of your proposals have stopped that shooting? And that never will. So This is all just for show.
Yep. They do want to take away your guns, absolutely. And they're going to have to kill Americans to do it, and yeah. Where's Little Drone? He's up asleep. Vincent said, Dronetek, I have a question. If Bernie Sanders is at the 2020 debate, who's going to bring Marty back from the future? He's nowhere near as smart or entertaining as Lloyd.
Right, and Sundown, you're absolutely right. Like, when you look at the non-inner city gun violence in the United States, we're actually very low when it comes to our ranking in countries around the world. But they always want to recognize the tool as being evil, as opposed to the actual people that engage in evil violence.
It's whatever's most politically expedient. Why do you think the NRA exists? Because we know that you're after our rights. That's why it exists in the first place, lady. And of course you want to get rid of it. Why do you think they want to get rid of guns? Because they want to get rid of other rights. And they want to make sure you're not armed. These people are so freaking nefarious, man. They're all, even if they don't know what they're doing, they're just dumb. None of these people has a chance against Trump, as far as I can tell, honestly. You're going to have an interesting strategy for dealing with him.
And remember, we've had an assault weapons ban in the past, and actually shootings went up during that time period. So,
did Columbine happened right after, or was it still in effect?
I can't remember.
Okay. I think it happened during the assault weapons ban. You're talking about taking away people's rights. It's a political issue.
Remember, as they talk about big money in politics, remember the Democrats are the party of the extremely poor and the extremely wealthy. More billionaires donated to Hillary Clinton by far than Donald Trump.
Yep, that's true. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, all these people are so knee deep in the money, and they're all shady. They're all connected to shady people. These people are all. You don't get to this level. I mean, Donald Trump, no doubt, has some shady connections. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You don't get to this level without it, as far as I can tell. Have you ever seen any of these shows based on politics throughout history? Politics has always been corrupt. I mean, it really always. I don't know if it can operate any other way, really. But we're not that corrupt. We're not as corrupt as Mexico or Venezuela yet.
Again, when they talk about banning this money, it's ironic that by far the biggest influencer is Google and the mainstream media that all lean left, but they never talk about taking their influence out.
Yeah. Well, it's because that influence helps them, so they don't want to turn that into a bad thing. That's what kills me. In this next election, I don't think Russia's so much what you got to worry about. You got to worry about what Google and the tech giants are going to do. Because we already know. We already know that their plans are to not let Trump happen again. So, and they could do it. They had a hand in the midterm elections.
Notice how they don't talk specifics. They just say NRA, NRA, NRA.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a terrorist organization. NRA. It sounds like an Irish, an IRA wing or something. An IRA division.
Look, if you're watching this and you are against a lot of gun rights that have, that's fine. I disagree with you, but then you have to pass an amendment because it's in the Bill of Rights is the Second Amendment that we have a right to firearms. So you know what the process is to pass an amendment. These executive actions that they're talking about are absurd. It's not the executive branch's authority to write laws.
Right, and that's going to cause trouble for sure. I'm going to read some comments here real quick. Cindy Ben, 2001, how you doing, Cindy? There's so many clueless young people who hate Trump. Yes, of course. Sundown said Hillary Clinton won key battleground states like Goldman Sachs, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Absolutely. Has a debate, Elan really, has the debate begun? Yes, it began quite a while ago now. Over an hour ago. Thanks, Buck Keg. We've had enough. I'm really bored by this debate right now. I can't wait till it gets down to smaller. Honestly, once it gets down to Trump, everybody's going to watch that like it's a Mike Tyson fight. You realize that? When it gets down to Trump and whoever.
Oh, I just want to say here real quick while Bullock's talking. Remember that under Obama, the 8 years under Obama, 99.8% of all attempts to illegally purchase a firearm at the federal level were not charged. And so the problem's not, let's create more bills to have less access to guns for law-abiding citizens. The problem is enforce and increase the penalties of those that are using guns criminally now. Because as people were saying in the chat, the majority of this gun violence is coming from the same areas. So start throwing these gangbangers in jail for serious amounts of times when they use guns in illegal manners. And then the rest of us that are law-abiding citizens don't have to give up our rights.
Right. Well, of course, that's politically incorrect. You can't say that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you can't even criticize MS-13. You can't even do that.
Yep.
That's the situation we're in. I kind of hate these things. Who knows what kind of super cancer I'm giving my brain with a Bluetooth. Hey, Gator's back. What's up, buddy? So many Americans believe yada, yada, yada. Whatever that means. She kind of reminded me of Elaine Bennis already. Now she
Right. Oh! Intermission.
Is it?
Yeah, I might just be a couple seconds ahead of you. Yeah. So yeah, nothing. What's the big takeaway so far? Three things. They talked about three issues. You had healthcare, you had illegal immigration, and you had gun rights. I think they're smart to try to focus on healthcare because, like I said, even though things are getting slightly better, the Republicans don't have a cohesive plan, and it's still a big issue. On illegal immigration, the big story is they're basically all for open borders. A couple of them weren't, but they don't have a chance, like Hickenlooper. And then when it comes to guns, they're just clueless. It's just more talking points. We hate the NRA. We want to take away your rights. Remember, if you give up your Second Amendment rights because you think that will somehow give us some security, don't be surprised when they come from your First and Fourth Amendment rights as well in the name of security.
Yep. Sorry, somebody got my PayPal account, and I finally got a message back from PayPal, so I was looking at that.
Oh, good deal.
But
yeah.
Healthcare, gun rights, and open borders. I think you're right on point there, and I mean these are great points for Trump to go after, as far as I can tell. I'm amazed that they're doing it because they're screwing themselves, as far as I can tell. They would definitely be better off. I mean, I don't think they got much of a chance, but they would definitely be better off going with some of the more moderate guys, the purple tie guy. Who you said you actually kind of liked. I didn't like him at first, but you're right. Delaney, compared to a lot of those people, he actually came off kind of sounding rational.
Well, and here's the problem, though. They're being forced to play the identity politics game as well. You'll see it tomorrow night with Tulsi and with Yang as well, where they have positions that I think, okay, these are, even Warren has some positions. I'm like, okay, this isn't the worst. But then they have to default to saying, and those who disagree with me are racist, and we need to give reparations of some sort, and we need to allow illegals in. And that's where they lose me, but that's what they need to do to win the primary. That's funny,
but yeah, they got to do it to win the primary, but ultimately they're going to need voters, and that's definitely, I mean, if we got to go up against someone like that, awesome. I'm very happy about that, because the moderates are going to definitely swing towards Trump, because where else are they going to go? Trump's got a lot of negatives, but I think a lot of people, I don't know about most, but a lot of people see through the whole, everything he does is racist. I mean, come on. definitely the recent thing with the rats infestation. They're really making a big deal of infestation for some reason. I don't get it. It's kind of projection on their part too. It kind of shows where their mind's going. But
yeah, but I mean, one thing I will
backfire.
I hope so, but you can never underestimate the power they have controlling all of our cultural institutions of power with the mainstream media, entertainment industry,
I don't
academia,
underestimate it all.
You know, so like this insanity, some people eat it up, and it's a scary thing. Look, I actually want a strong and robust Democratic Party because I understand that none of the parties are totally, like the Republican Party, the establishments, they suck too. And if there's only one party, things will get real bad real fast. So yeah. I'm actually cheering for the Democrats to get absolutely crushed, and then hopefully some of these more moderates, who I disagree with and wouldn't vote, but I think are reasonable people, maybe they'll take back their party at that point, because the lesson learned from 2016 when Trump, won, the Democrats should have learned, whoa, we need to stop trying to play this identity politics game. Let's get back to focusing on the economy and things like that. But instead, they just went more extreme to the left. And if they win or if they barely lose this time, they're going to keep playing this game and our country is going to get worse and worse. So the best thing that can happen to this country is them to get crushed. And then hopefully more reasonable people arise from the ashes of the Democratic Party.
I hope so. And that's the best hope that we have, because right now, and I don't want to get too crazy here, but right now we are on a collision course that's not going to end any other way but badly. Yeah. And I hope that that's what happens. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely there's going to be a pendulum swing to the left that's going to be bad. And there's going to be another pendulum swing the other direction that's going to be even worse. And look, yeah, I'm not a far right guy. I don't subscribe to that shit, but I feel like I'm being pushed into it, and that's not a good sign, you know? Like they're pushing me into it. I know I'm not there, but they're pushing me there in their own minds, which is dangerous for all of us, really. We're back live. Kellamati, thank you, man. $5. Have some chuckles, lad. It's good watching the DemocRATs commit political suicide. I agree. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will put it towards my trip to Cincinnati to see Trump this Thursday, August 1st. Make sure you check me out. I'm going to be live streaming and, of course, the video later. Yeah, that's not new. None of that, really. Kellamati, welcome, buddy. Make sure to subscribe. Check me out. Check out Robert as well. He's a lot smarter than I am. A lot more interesting to listen to.
Wasn't a bad speech from Hickenlooper.
No, but I'm way too cynical. Remember, I actually was an Obama supporter. Well, not supporter, but I'm like, he seems like a good guy when he first came around. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll go with Obama. He seems like a good guy. Silly me. Oh my god! Oh, that's gonna make a gif right there, Bernie Sanders. Did you catch that one, Robert?
No, my stream just went out. Actually, I'm just getting back in it.
Oh, Bernie! They gave Bernie an energy shot or something during the intermission, or he took a couple vodka energy monster shots or something.
Yeah, show me one other country on Earth, Bernie, that allows anyone in the world to come get their free health care.
Welcome, John. Yeah. People are watching me watch the debates. Unfortunately, this is what we have to do because YouTube's so tyrannical. So we're just sort of commenting on it, watching it with other people. Is that all right, John? John? I'll be waiting, John. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Tim Ryan's the voice of reason, apparently.
That's right. That's the best comment so far. He's absolutely right.
He's like, what are you doing? You're insane. Wow. I'm not a fan of Tim Ryan, but it just goes to show you how insane the left has become, the Democrat Party. It shows what wing is taken over. It's the Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC wing. Che Guevara wing. Thanks, Cindy. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of boring, guys. Yes, the guy who lost to Ted Cruz. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your opinion, Beto. God, my cats. They're so annoying. Sorry, Cindy. Yeah.
Okay.
People do not have values. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did anybody go to jail in these giant banks, Elizabeth? No.
People said that? Well, Democrats said that. I remember Biden saying that it would be on-the-job training if Trump or Obama were elected because he had no experience. Thanks, Killamantry. I really appreciate it. Anyone ever witnessed Beto pop a tray flip?
I've seen a dark slide from not really a... Again, they're saying the right things here. That is...
Stephen Hanna, thank you very much. My first super chat because you deserve it. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who have donated. I really appreciate it. You should definitely go sign up, subscribe to Robert for sure. Like I said, he's very entertaining, very knowledgeable.
There's a good talking point for Warren there, but notice how they keep leaving her interrupt anytime she wants.
Yeah. This is it's a shame, dude.
And her point, which they're all cheering for, which the Democrats want to hear, she's basically saying, yes, we need to advocate utopian policies that will never get passed. And if you're not on board with that, why even run for president? It's stupid.
It's a purity test. Litmus test. sundown, all the Antifa members applauded. In case you want to know what the beer was. Little Great Lakes Commodore Perry. There's something weird about the way Warren moves around that really just rubs me the wrong way. It's just very like herky-jerky kind of weird movements. I don't know what it is. It's weird. She's super pale too, also. She's so white to claim to be Native American. Not gonna happen. But Trump's trying to change that, right? Like, his policies are an attempt to change that. Calamity. Oh, okay, sorry. Calamity. I gotcha. Sorry. I've been really...
So we got a running tab going on Bernie today, canceling student debt, free college for everyone, free healthcare for anyone in the world, open borders. What's the tally up to? A couple $100 trillion for him?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's just an endless... There's all these billionaires to pay for everything. All these rich, evil hordes to take money from.
Oh, Klobuchar! Tapper just nailed her with a tough question, and she wimps out.
Bye, Cindy. You better pay some damn good attention to him. John, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. John, carry on. Love you guys. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it, John.
Not a bad answer for Klobuchar here, but she's right with her initial statement, which is people are promising free crap to everyone, and they're never going to come through on those promises. And I'm not going to lie to get elected. Now, she will, obviously, but that's a fair point, you know.
Yeah. Right, and even if it did work, you would just have this system where people were just promising more and more benefits to get elected, which is where we're at pretty much, But you're right. They're not going to be able to afford it to do it. So it's just pie in the sky shit. Oh, shit. Sorry, Cindy. Calamity. I'm glad that you put that. I feel really dumb.
Yeah, John Hoke, excellent point. Some of the worst ran healthcare in the country is the VA. So why would we give them... You hear the horror stories of the VA, which Beto is talking about right now. Why do we want that through all healthcare?
Right. Or any government-run institution. They're all shitty. Well, not all of them. The FBI and the CIA, some of them are good. The military.
Ooh, climate. Right. John Delaney's right. It's not, the Green New Deal's not just about the climate. It's about reparations, free jobs for everyone. It's about total government takeover by the socialists.
Gets us to net zero. We've already been to net zero. This guy wants to take us backwards.
remember, anyone, I'll be real quick on this because it's a long-winded thing, but anyone listening to him talk about climate change, the United States is only responsible for about 13% of all carbon emissions, and we're getting much better. So everyone saying we have until X date to change things is advocating for going to war with China and with India. That is the only way to stop this. So if you would like to see billions murdered in the name of their pie-in-the-sky dream, then vote Democrat.
Yeah. It's probably going to happen anyway. Unless we can all get together on some global mission. Space, maybe. If I was leader, that's what I would do. I'd organize a worldwide space mission to Mars that we all took part in. It'd be great. Surprised we don't do that. Thanks, Calamity. As a Brit, I genuinely worry about you guys. Have some more shekels in case it all goes sideways. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Right. Remember when what a Warren's saying here is, oh, we'll give a bunch of money to people to innovate. Remember, Obama tried that with a company called Solyndra, and they walked away with $500 million of your tax dollars and produced nothing.
Yeah.
Warren's talked as double as much as almost anyone else. You know what's interesting to me is that these people don't talk like this hardly at all. Like whether it be, you know, in their interviews on CNN or MSNBC or on Twitter. On Twitter, it's all very like hardcore partisan warfare, you know. Here they talk more, you know, just the policy, which is weird. It's kind of strange. Hey, thanks for the subs, guys.
Yeah, definitely sub to Robert. You will not be disappointed. The guy should be huge on YouTube. He will be.
After this, I'm going to eat supper and get more physically huge. But another thing that they don't talk about is when we're talking about this 12-year stuff, they don't anticipate the idea of human innovation. They're assuming we'll have the exact same carbon emissions today that we'll have in 12 years. But if you drive through places like Texas, you see that we actually are getting better with greener technologies. It's just that it's happening naturally with a free market. Once the government gets involved and starts picking winners and losers, it'll destroy the whole system, and we're going to end up losing millions of jobs, well, millions, but tons of jobs and hurting our economy.
Sundown, if Robert DeWar hits 500 subs, he will burn a Kaepernick jersey live stream as he shaves his beard.
Someone will have to donate the Kaepernick jersey. Yeah. I ain't buying it.
What does that mean? God, these people.
Right, so he just said that he wants to criminalize the fossil fuel industry. What?
The world runs on fossil fuels, guy. You know what? I'm all for a replacement technology. It's got to be energy efficient. It's got to be cost efficient. It hasn't happened yet. It will. But this is just demagoguery. Oh, Calamity again. I think you're up to $20 now. I appreciate it, man. Indie content creators need to stick together. Trust me, I know how hard it is. I agree. Why don't you come to our Discord sometime, man? We'll talk. I need to be promoting that more.
But they won't. Okay, then you're defending the Green New Deal? No, they won't come out and say that. They just talk in these hyperbolic statements. Oh, like it's that easy to just change our entire energy grid. It's not. We are making a gradual transition now.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
God, he's got the crazy eyes, man. No, that's not true. We all know climate change is real. Everybody knows it's real. Okay? That's not the disagreement. These people are so dishonest.
Yeah, right, John. Nuclear power. Exactly. Why are they all against nuclear power? Because this is more about virtue signaling, and it's about things like racial justice and taking over the entire control of the U.S. economy. That's what they're about. Or if it was really about energy, they would advocate nuclear.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. I'm all about nuclear power. Let's do it. But I'm into the quantum stuff. I think we need to look for it there. We're probably a long way off from that, but Calamity, it is a joke. It is a joke. It's a sham. It's a bunch of Democrats on a Democrat Party propaganda network. What do you expect? They're obviously driving viewers towards certain people to be the front runners.
Yep. No. Bernie's absolutely wrong. How are you going to take like my rural area where coal mining's so big? What are you going to do, Bernie? We'll transition them. Again, how much money is he advocating? We're up to like $60-70 trillion his first year as president for all this?
Yep.
See, it sounds so reasonable. What they're saying sounds so reasonable. But what they're saying is, why does every solution for climate change mean you, the average person, pay more and massive increases in power for all of these people? Just like Al Gore, right? Oh, carbon tax credits. He gets rich. He still flies on private jets. All of these people still use way more carbon emissions than you ever will. Yet we're supposed to just trust them, give them all the power.
God, what kind of an idiot says that? That like nothing's gonna happen in 10 years, guys. Nothing's gonna happen. He's full of shit. He's a doomsday cultist. He's like the equivalent to some sort of religious fanatic. That's the kind of people believe That's like believing Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back in 10 years. We gotta hang up all the gays. I mean, it's like the same thing. Yeah. And by that, he means we'll do nothing. Hey, thanks, Steve, buddy. Steve Hanna. Really appreciate it. They haven't talked about Baltimore much at all.
Right.
They haven't at all, I don't think.
Nope.
It'll come up. I'm holding out hope. They won't, because that might mean discussing Baltimore, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, this is true. It is outrageous that Flint's water is still wrong.
It is. What's up with that? But it's Democrat run for how long? I know there's a Republican governor now, but it's funny because you didn't start hearing about it until the Republican took over. Did you notice that?
That's right.
As soon as he took over, it became an issue.
There's certain, not to talk over them real quick, there's certain things that I just don't care about the parties. Like, there should not be one town in this country with undrinkable water, period. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat. And to me, it's a slap in the face of every single person in Washington and in government in Flint that still persists to be a problem. I don't care what party they're in. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, what kind of horrible freaking leadership do you have running this place? Yep. You don't have the most basic of all necessities. Drinkable water. You have to have drinkable water. Yep. What the hell? I agree 100% on that. All Democrat run. Yeah, we got a lot of shitty towns, a lot of shitty cities around the country. Oh my God! Why? We're all of.
Well, that's the biggest applause of the night.
Oh, here we go. The racism, the bigotry. I already drank all my beer, but I'll drink the rest. No. Guys, I support Trump. Do not believe in racism. I am not a racist. Robert is not a racist. Millions of people, nope. We don't care about race.
Oh, here we go. Don Lemon's talking about race.
Here we go. You got to him before I did, but I know it's coming. Yep.
That is one of the worst questions I've ever heard a moderator ask. Donald Trump is using racial division. Absurd! That is an absurd thing for a moderator to say.
Especially from a guy whose entire career is based on causing racial division. God, these people. I feel like... Yeah, Calamity, get it. And I'm a horrible white man, and I should just commit seppuku right here, and then somebody should march him out a freaking katana or a ninja toe blade, and then he commits seppuku right there on stage for being Beto the white man.
What a load of verbal diarrhea Beto is. Okay, but what he's saying here, Delaney's saying here is, hasn't Trump actually been good for inner cities as far as things like job growth and things like that? So how is he so bad again? Sure, who says otherwise? No one stands up for white supremacy. All of you stood up for Antifa that attacked buildings. You call ICE and other federal facilities Nazis and concentration camps. By the way, can you imagine Don Lemon asking, according to FBI statistics, about 50% of homicides are committed by black people. What will you do to stop black violence? Of course not. He would never ask that. They have to do what they can to smear the racial groups that they don't like. But they accuse Trump of being the one of racial division.
Sorry, guys. I keep burping in the mic. So what did I miss? I missed something good.
Race baiting. We're talking about white terrorism now.
Yep. Here we go. White, look at the statistics. Per capita, us being the majority, we are way underrepresented. But they call it, they mess with the statistics. They call gang violence terrorism. They do a lot of things. They don't count gang shootings, mass killings as mass shootings. God, these people are so obsessed. They're so like everything that they accuse us of being. Because I couldn't care less. I don't give a damn what color you are.
Translation, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
That's what Buttigieg is saying. Which it's not, ironically. Tragic shootings will happen no matter who's in charge. It's just funny how they weaponize that against him and whoever they choose to.
Oh, yeah. Well, all day long they were blaming Trump for the shooting that happened at the festival.
What a scumbag Don Lemon is.
I know.
What do you say to the people that prioritize truth over CNN's racism? You know?
Where's the bigotry? I haven't seen it. Well, not in the rat infested thing anyway.
Here we go. There's Baltimore.
What? That's not what he said it was. He didn't say it was nothing more than a home for rats. These people, man. Such liars. They just say so much crap. They talk so much shit. It gets so old. What's up, Tiberius? What's up, buddy? Glad to see you here. We're not doing a whole lot. We're just watching the debate and chatting as things come up.
Oh, here we go, Beto. There we go. Our country's founded on slavery. That's what all of our wealth is. Here we go. Original sin.
Yep. Folks, we had one of the smallest groupings of slavery as far as the African slave trade. South America, the Middle East, Europe, and U.S. had pretty much the same amount, which was tiny compared to South America and the Middle East. So, and it went on for a lot longer, hundreds of years longer.
Yep,
none of
reparations.
None of us have anything to feel guilty about over that. We had nothing to do with it. This is like religious dogma shit. It needs to start getting called out as that too, because it's gonna cause. All it is a justification for racists to hate white people.
Here we go. Reparations. Woo!
My family came from Germany in like 1860. We had nothing to do with any of that shit, so we owned no slaves. So fuck off.
Williamson also led a prayer with white people to have them all apologize for being white. So
she did that? She's the one that did that? Holy crap. Are you serious?
Yep.
Have you all seen that? I might have to play it. Williamson, this woman right here made a bunch of white people in the church apologize to black people. That's messed up. That shows you got a warped view of reality. She's no different than like a, what were those protesters? God hates figs? Who were those?
Westboro.
Like Westboro, yeah. She kind of looks like one of those kind of people too. I bet she's a Scientologist.
Yeah! Woo! Make white people pay $500 billion. Woo!
Yeah. F white people. It's so progressive. %73% of African Americans are for cash payments. Yeah. Oh, really? I'm amazed by that. I'm pretty sure any group of people is going to be a high percentage who would enjoy a cash payment.
Here we go. So Bernie, remember Bernie, all the free stuff he's given. Open borders, healthcare, free school, healthcare for anyone in the world, giving money to Guatemala and all of South America. Now reparations.
Yep. Just piling it on. You're going to get, it's like we're on the set of Oprah Winfrey here. We're all getting a bunch of shit. Or in the movie The Running Man, when they're watching the show and they're getting gifts. They're all getting all these gifts as they're watching.
How long is this thing supposed to go? We're in an intermission now?
No.
10 o'clock. Yeah. I might be a couple seconds ahead of you.
You are.
I mean, it's absolute nonsense. We got to the good stuff here in the second half. I mean, to me, the big story still, they're all for basically open borders. No one's talked about wanting to take. Well, that's not true. You had like Delaney and Hickenlooper and some others, but they don't have a chance. But the major people are all for open borders. They're all for promising as much money as possible. Elizabeth Warren's probably winning the Democratic primary voters, and basically the reason she's winning is because she's making fun of the people that are trying to be the moderates, saying, well, why are you even here if you don't want to just promise free stuff to everyone? We need the big idea. And now we can see what they really feel when we get to an issue like reparations. They all just say Trump's racist and our country's so evil, and we need to increase the division by talking about how we need to give money to people based on their race. This is terrible. This will lead to decreased race relations, and
it's just going to further divide the country, and it just gives people who want to. It just gives a rationalization and a justification for hate. It can do nothing but further divide this country. I don't understand it. Hey, Calamity.
And someone had said in the chat, it's just all rhetoric. There's no policies. Exactly. Which is, in part, you can't blame the Democrats fully for that. You also have to blame the format in CNN, because it's near impossible to have a detailed conversation when there's 10 people on the stage. But you see how they're trying to give Bernie and Elizabeth the biggest slice of the pie as far as they get to respond to everyone. But, the only policies they specifically indicated are some about reparations, the Green New Deal, which is an absolute disaster, and basically Medicare for all. That's the only actual policies that we've heard. They're all disasters. They come with multi-trillion-dollar bills, and well, maybe not reparations, but yeah, I mean, it's just unabashed. And I forget who it was. There was a famous philosopher that said that democracy will fail when 51% of the people realize they could vote for the other 49%'s wealth. Yeah. And that's exactly what we're seeing with the Democrats. Well, we'll just promise everything to everyone. Oh, yeah, free school for you. Yep, we'll end all of your debt. Yep, we'll give you a guaranteed job. Oh, you don't want to work? Whatever. We'll give you universal basic income. Yep, you get free schooling. Yep, you get free healthcare. And we'll give a bunch of countries free money. Plus, we'll give healthcare to anyone who wants to come here. Oh, reparations, why not? Bernie just said, we're only paying $60,000 for teachers? That's absurd. Let's give them more government money. Like, there's no end to this. And when you have someone like Delaney call this out, and it's like, look, this is a losing strategy. Right. And Klobuchar said you can't just promise all this stuff. They don't care because they know they have the backup of the mainstream media and the entertainment industry in Silicon Valley and places like Google.
Those are all things they have to say. It's like part of the deal.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. And, you know, you're not going to see, until we get to a fair debate where, you know, you actually have Trump arguing against them, you're not going to see anyone push back on them. Don Lemon, when your moderator starts off with, Trump's a bigot, and so what will you do with it? Do you really think you're going to get some fair moderation there? I mean, that's not what journalism's about. If I saw, that's why you won't see Sean Hannity moderating a debate on Fox, because he's so biased, but Hannity acknowledges it, right? You wouldn't for a moment see, like, who would do the debates on Fox, like Brett Baer. You would never see him be like, well, Bernie's clearly a racist, so what do you think, Trump? You know? It's just...
You're dealing with people at CNN... No, you're fine. You're dealing with people at CNN who literally believe when Colbert said that reality has a liberal bias, they believe that. They think that reality is just whatever they think. They don't... And I wonder that often. It's like, do you think that there's any... Like, anything that you guys believe, do you think any of it has any flaws, or there's a chance that maybe there's a better idea? No. And real quick, I just want to thank Calamity again for your $2 super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. Socialism intensifies. Yeah, that's basically what's happening. And Tiberius, we do not have a moderator right now. Maybe you should be it.
It's supposed to end at 10 o'clock, by the way.
Is it? Okay. Good. Calamity, you want to be a mod? Tiberius, do you know what Discord is? You should come to our Discord. Yes. The tariffs are working out. It seemed to be, anyway. Hey, Rational, what's up, buddy? Hey, SJG, what's up, buddy? We got the mods.
Let me just, real quick, I just want to say something strategically when you debate, because it's something I did for a long time. You don't want to just say, my opponent is always evil and horrible with everything. You need to be intelligent and say, well, look, there were some good things that happened here, but here's what I would do to improve. Because look, there are objectively some things that are going very well under Trump, and you come off as a liar when you just say, nope, he's an evil racist and everything's terrible.
Poor Obama. Shut up, purple tie.
Yeah, Warren's right about this.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't get it either. It's like, what the hell? You gotta live here too. Why do you want to pollute freaking oceans and shit and streams?
But here's what's funny. What Warren's saying is that's Trump's strategy, right? But she can't bring herself to say Trump was right on this.
Right. Hey, by the way, check out Tiberius Maximus, his channel. He does some really, really high-quality political cartoons. You should check it out. He's in the channel right now.
I mean, Delaney's wrong about supporting the TPP, but he's right that Elizabeth's basically engaged in the same policy as Trump.
Yeah, you're right. Shut up, Delaney. And in case you didn't know, you can watch this on CNN.com. If you're seriously sitting here watching us, not watching the stream of the debates, then I feel pity for you. But go to CNN.com, watch it for free. Yeah, get a better deal overall, because we've been getting screwed over. You're right. Warren sounded a little bit like Trump there. Trump should actually adopt that, by the way, about bettering their standards.
But again, how does Warren? So then, how is this an argument against Trump? She's agreeing with Trump.
Right. She's saying the same thing. You're right. She's basically saying we need to get better deals with our allies, with everybody, because everybody wants to be in our market, and she's right.
Yeah.
Why are we devaluing our own market?
That's and here we have Beto against the tariffs, which he has no idea what he's talking about. But that's the interesting thing about Warren. Like, she actually agrees with Trump on a lot of policy that I think she's right about. Things like unfair trade policies, also things like wanting to break up big multinational corporations and like looking at places like Facebook and Google. Like, she agrees with Trump and all that. It's just she's such a progressive lunatic on the other stuff, and she won't give Trump any credit.
She can't. Obviously, she can't give up any weakness, show any weakness. But she shows weakness constantly that Trump will take mucho advantage of. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong in demonizing them so badly, Bernie. Corporations are just people. It's groups of people.
Okay, yeah, what Bernie says there isn't bad, but the larger government you have, the more you have the chance for corporate lobbyists to lobby and be effective. So Absolutely. He has it backwards.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why this format's kind of dumb to begin with.
Yeah.
Tick gets close.
The tax cut, this is a talking point by the Democrat. It wasn't just to the rich. It's that the rich happen to pay the most in taxes. So if you have any tax cut, the rich will get some money back.
Exactly. Yep. They like the media play a lot of word games like that. They're what you might call a wordsmiths. Both sides play that game, but Bill de Blasio. Skip. I wish Bill de Blasio was in the race or on the panel. Yeah, he would be real fun to...
Tomorrow, right? He's on the stage tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow's going to be the boring one.
Ugh, this is going after 10.
Ugh. Just ugh. Who can deal with this shit this long? We've never done a live stream this long, by the way.
Okay, at least give this guy credit for kind of agreeing with Trump with saying I would do it in a different way. I think he's wrong, but at least he's...
Yeah. He's showing a little...
integrity, yeah, right.
Yeah, a little integrity.
Yeah. Can we remember who was it that passed those trade deals, NAFTA? Oh, yeah, that was a Democrat, Bill Clinton. What does that mean? Nothing. Buttigieg always wants to bring Christianity into it.
I know.
What does being a Christian have to do with being against the minimum wage? Yes, I don't want thousands of people to lose their job. Come to my town and tell the mom and pop stores that are paying $10 an hour now they have to pay $15 and watch them go out. Is it a Christian thing to say, yeah, they should go out of business? Just shut your mouth, Buttigieg.
Dude,
what
it's
a
the
stupid
same thing
comment.
they do with skin color. They're just trying to like strong arm people, like shame them into accepting their position. Like, oh well, I've planted my flag on Christianity or whiteness or whatever it may be, and if you don't agree with me, well then you're a traitor to that or whatever, or my principles. They do the same thing with everything.
It's because they're all a bunch of bastards, is why.
Oh, yeah. There he is. Welcome back, bud. Glad you're here. Add a little levity to this. Where's your video?
Oh, I just realized I didn't know.
Where's your sexy face?
Okay.
Yeah, Delaney's right here. Like, instead of talking about raising income tax rates, if you really want to raise taxes, you need to be talking about capital gains rates, which he's absolutely right to be discussing. Now, I think that we don't need to raise any of those taxes, that we should be trying to lower taxes, but he is right. If you want to focus on taxing the wealthy, that's where you should be looking, not the income tax.
I propose the wealth tax. Sorry about that, guys. You're 50 million. Give it to you to put in your brains. That's what we can do with 2 cents.
I'm playing with my hair there, guys. Sorry.
That's lie. If this is true, if what she's saying is true, is if we just had a little more taxes, we could do all this fantastic stuff. Every year we have more taxes raised by the U.S. federal government, and none of this crap gets done. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Warren and all of her cohorts get rich. So how does she explain that?
It's a racket. It's like they constantly preach about these certain things, and they constantly get support and money for it, but they never actually achieve it because guess what? If they actually achieved it, they would no longer have these like victims groups. So they love keeping people in these constantly feeling like they're victims because otherwise, what would they do? Well, you know, if everybody was self-reliant, they wouldn't have a base. Calamity done. Quote the Raven. Blame racism. Always blame racism. That is the rule. Frog Hair said Liz Warren seems like a crazy aunt that won't let you dip your pizza in the pizza crust in the garlic butter. Yeah, pretty much. She's weird. I talk about the way she just moves. She moves in these weird herky jerky sort of ways. It's kind of creepy.
Is that Maria Wilson or whatever her name is? Mariana Wilson?
She's the one that made white people.
The author?
There you go. There he is.
Sorry.
Looking like like you're on the prison yard broadcasting. I like your pictures in the back now. Is that new?
Yeah, I set it up a little differently.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. Are you guys listening? Is Booty Keg talking right now? Am I synced up with you guys?
Go to CNN.com and it's streaming.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
Booty Keg.
Butt keg.
Butt keg.
For-profit colleges, profits are so bad. It's not like they drive innovation to make things better. Profits are so horrible.
Don't you just love when these headlines, I'm sorry, I'm reading underneath the headlines and says, here's what you need to know about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. If somebody tells me here's what I need to know, I automatically think, is that really what I need to know?
Yeah. Is this what you want me to know?
Yeah.
Is that all you want me to know?
But listen, what Buttigieg is saying here, how is if we go with his plan and Bernie's plan to give free college to everyone, it's not going to lower prices of colleges. The colleges are going to make money hand over fist. That's exactly what happened when we guaranteed federal student loans to students. Colleges raised their prices. They would do the same thing in a world where the government pays for all college.
He always takes one subject and then rants off into another one completely to get all his talking points in every response.
Yeah, he's like the white Don King, or not Don King, but Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
Hey Bernie, why don't you pay your people a living wage?
Yeah.
Why don't you sell your lake house, buddy? What are you driving a sports car around for?
No, Robert. The standards that he has are never to be applied to him. Come on, that's not fair. Jeez.
That's exactly right. Like every good socialist.
He's got problems to deal with. He has other things he needs to spend that money on, Robert. Jeez.
Yeah. Every good socialist, what they do is moral. Everyone who makes $1 more than them is immoral.
Right. I mean, he's trying to take down Trump. That means anything goes, right?
Right.
That means these people have to work as slave labor.
Yes, it does. Oh, yeah. Okay.
A tax cut isn't giving money to people. It is allowing them to keep their own.
She obviously has no chance.
Are we offline?
Whoa. Stream complete. Uh-oh. Hopefully that's not something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start it over. Let's see if it keeps going.
Why the frick did they do that?
Yeah, I'm annoyed.
Did you hit something and knock yourself offline?
No, it was going. No, it was going.
It still says it's live. 32 are watching.
Yeah, and the chat's all saying that it's offline.
Okay.
I also lost
Are you drunk?
Graphics and stuff that are on my thing. They just stopped working.
What did?
Something is going on. Hold on. All right, let's see if it starts streaming. There we go.
Yeah.
There, you're back up.
There we go. I'm not sure what happened there. That's weird. One of my drives died. I lost network connection on one of my drives. That stores the graphics and stuff for this. So like, it's all messed up now. That's okay. Whatever. I'll just go between these two. There we go. Turn off the ticker. I don't need that.
Huh.
I don't know what that.
Everyone says they're going to bring the countries together in the Middle East. Everyone says that, and no one does it because you can't do that over there because they don't want to be brought together. He's such a lion.
Bernie, isn't that what Trump tried to do with North Korea, and your party denigrated him?
Yeah.
I've had a few beers. I've had like 5 beers.
Huh.
On a Tuesday. But I'm a stay-at-home dad now, so it's okay. It just means I'm going to be miserable like all day. It's hard, man.
Did he just say terrorists are for losers? Okay.
I just caught that. What? Oh, tariffs are for losers. That's what he said.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
What? No, that's not true. I mean, it's worked. The threat of tariffs got Mexico to do what we wanted them to do. So they worked, right?
Hey, I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa. That's not going to work. See, I'm missing a texture here. Okay, that's not going to work.
I can't believe this what they're saying right now. He's denigrating Trump for meeting with Kim Jong-un.
I know. Diplomacy's bad now.
Yeah, diplomacy. 2 seconds ago, we needed diplomacy. 2 seconds ago, we needed diplomacy to bring the world together. Now, diplomacy's bad because this guy's a dictator.
Well, right, and you can kind of understand the pathology that's at work here. Is like, we hate Trump. He's a fascist. We must stop him at all costs. Oh my God, he's doing good things. We cannot report these things as good because that would be helping a dictator fascist. And so that's how they rationalize all this.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
Oh, wait. Is he just saying go fix the problem at its source? Isn't that kind of what Trump said about like Elijah Cummings and, to Ilhan Omar, go fix the problems at the source?
Yeah, that's the problem with dealing with people with serious cases of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, thank God. What Russian nuclear agreement? The INF?
Who gives a shit about the climate change agreement?
I know.
That's bad. Orange Man bad. Invading our democracy? What does that even mean? Lost their lives on the battlefield? Like, the rhetoric these people spew is ridiculous when they equate buying Facebook ads to an actual battle, an actual attack, like Pearl Harbor, which Swalwell did compared it to Pearl Harbor.
All of them?
That worked out great in Iraq. Let's do it again. I'm sure that hole won't be filled by any kind of a force.
Yeah, but that's where I think you and I mean, because you served too, so maybe we have a different. I'm kind of like, who cares? Just let's pull everybody out, pull them back, and if those fuckers do some shit over there and kill each other. If they come over here, we turn them into a parking lot.
Right. I mean, I'm with you, but like, look what happened in Iraq. It turned into which we had to deal with, right? It's going to turn into a problem, which we're going to end up having to deal with. But whatever. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
It's whatever. We
no one's going to do it.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just trying to save face at this point. I get it, but we lost 3,000 people. We wanted to kick some ass, you know. We had a big bad military. We wanted to blow some people up.
Let's hear what Beto says.
That is crazy. An 18-year war. I mean, obviously there's been other wars, but...
Now, isn't it funny, though? They say this now, but remember, when Trump wanted to do this, all the Democrats were against him. Now we have all these people on stage. It's such... I am still alive, by the way, Jesse. My wife was trying to feed me. Oh. I just had to tell her 10:30. That's when it's supposed to be over.
You're like me. You got an awesome wife.
Yeah, she's the best.
I hate all the Democrats. I really do.
I do too, man. I honestly think Trump is going to wipe the floor with any one of these retards.
I know. I really wish I could like them. I really wish they weren't. Their plan is working though. Their plan to cause division. I hate to say it, but it's really working, and it's growing in me, and I hate it. But it's just these guys are all so disgusting and evil and fake and liars and two-faced, and I want to punch them all right square in the fucking yinger.
These are people that support these freaking drag queen story times where kids are laying on top of men dressed in lingerie and shit. Like and you're right. They're shaming people to their side, you know, and it's working.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just going to come down to how many people see through the illusion. Really.
Well, Justin Riviera, are you an idiot or are you a mild-mannered, open-minded Democrat? Because if you're an open-minded Democrat and not a retard, I don't hate you. Yeah. But if you are not, then I hate you.
Right. If you're Elizabeth Warren, you're Bernie Sanders, or any of these cartoon characters, these people are going to drive us to. These people are going to drive us to two countries because we are not the same America as these people, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I don't know. Is Justin Riviera in this? Is he a troll? Is he a troll?
Who's Justin Riviera?
I don't know. He's been in this chat.
No, he's kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. Yeah.
I let that one comment through because I don't know if Cindy's in here or not. But
yeah, he's kidding.
I just let it through.
She went to make her husband happy.
I don't hate all Democrats. Actually, I should re-clear that. Like a Tim Pool type of Democrat, I think they're great. Love them. You know what I mean?
Joe Rogan.
But anybody else, any one of these people on the stage, and any one of these progressives or those kind of those type, I really am beginning to just not to hate them.
Yeah, that's what's happening. It's not good. I am too, man. Personally, I've been there since the Iraq War days because back in those days, if anybody was big into the media back then, the media and the Democrats constantly taking the sides of our enemies, constantly perpetuating the stories and the lies and narratives of our enemies, the Islamic extremists. I mean, they were literally like saying, like today, where CNN people sound just like the Democrats. Back then, they sounded just like the Islamic extremists, our enemies. So I've hated them ever since then.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a lame issue, but I think Warren's ultimately wrong. if we have the weapons, then you might as well not come out and say, but we promise we'll never use. Do you think that Russia's going to be like, oh, well, if the U.S. promises not to use the weapons, then we're cool? Like, that's such a stupid, it's such a stupid point. I don't even know why this is occupying space here. Yeah, we got the weapons. If I was running for president, my thing would be real simple. Diplomacy. Until it's no longer possible, we will not have some drawn-out war like Afghanistan. We will wipe you off the face of the earth, period, if it comes to that. We'll be as nice as possible until then. And if you come out and you say, but we promise we won't do this, this, and this, that's just stupid.
Yeah. Crazy folks. Wait, crazy folks are talking about themselves.
I can't believe they're still going.
Yeah, it's supposed to end at 10:30.
Come on, you can do it. Use your words. He got a little locked up there for a minute. The governor of Turdville got a little locked up. Senator, please. My name's Don Lemon. You really need to listen to what I have to say. I'm a gay black man. I rank very high on the intersectionality
Look at me
scale.
adjusting my glasses. This indicates how important and intelligent I am.
Yeah. Yeah, older than dirt. That he's going to die soon? That's what he's trying to say. But your vision goes as you get older. Let's be honest.
All right, I need another beer.
We care about his vision too. If he'll be able to see, we agree. Yeah. Yeah, maybe or not. No, Jesus. The only reason we got this president is because your normal wasn't working, not because normal doesn't work. The reason we got this president is because we needed a little more normal, a little more common sense, a little more straightforward reality, doses of reality. You moron. Yeah, we are. We're making.
Here we go. He's going to talk about David Duke. How about when that Antifa terrorist bombed ICE, repeating your rhetoric? How about when Louis Farrakhan's being filmed with members of the Black Congressional Caucus? Notice how Buttigieg won't talk about that, but they still keep going back to David Duke. Yeah. Remember, David Duke also supports Ilhan Omar. Weird. We don't hear him talk about that, do we?
Yeah. Their hatred of Israel unites them. You're right.
Hey, this guy's what a scumbag. But I mean, that is a good talking point for his audience, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Here he goes again. He goes right back into the taking money from drug companies. God, he's such a broken record. If you listen to him for 5 minutes, that's all you've got everything. That's it.
He's definitely spent his repertoire during this debate. Oh my God, can you imagine him up against Trump? I hope that happens. I was talking about earlier. The whoever goes up against Trump, it's gonna be like a freaking Mike Tyson. It's gonna be like a Mike Tyson fight used to be in the 80s. People are gonna be like, "Oh man, what's gonna happen?"
Sanders just repeats. It doesn't matter what the question is. He just goes through his whole platform. A to B again, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z, debt, student debt.
Another intermission.
He's such a schlemiel.
He's what?
A schlemiel.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I heard it on Independence Day. You remember that?
A schlemiel?
Yeah, I remember Jeff Goldblum's dad. Anyway.
I don't know.
Moving on. Movie reference.
I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing when we come back, it'll be closing statements because everything I read said it's supposed to.
I got to go in 4 minutes, though, too.
So the night has pretty much been healthcare, gun rights, open borders, Trump's a racist, America's racist.
The drug companies.
The drug companies are everybody's racist and evil.
College. Did they get
free college, free healthcare.
Reparations.
Who do you guys think the Democratic primary voters will think had the best night?
I didn't watch it all, so I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. Either Buttigieg's had a pretty good night, and
Booty keg.
Butt keg, and Hickenlooper hasn't had a horrible night, but he's not. I don't know.
No, I mean, I personally, Delaney and
real quick, Sanders and Warren to me tonight have not been impressive at all. Same old, same old.
From the
but
I think Butt keg did good.
Yeah, I think that Warren will get the biggest bump. I think that they will like what. Yeah, she has the talking points that they want to hear, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that you'll. Oh goodness, my earphone for the debate went off. Whatever. But yeah, I think that she'll have the biggest bump. I think Bernie did okay. He held his own. It's, again, not for us. It's the same crap talking points, but this is what the Democratic primary people want to hear. But I think that the surprise, once more, will be Marianne Williamson, and I think that she'll get another bump because people like her weirdness. Me again, but we're not the target audience. Who out of this crew would do the best against Trump? You're talking like Delaney. You're talking, what's his name? Tim whatever, or Hickenlooper, that actually realize you can't be a full-blown socialist, but they don't. That's not who's going to win.
I feel like when Marianne Williamson's talking, I should be on a leather couch with incense burning and her doing chants in the background and telling me to connect with my inner self.
Yeah. You're right. It's going to be Warren or Sanders at this point. But yeah.
Now that's from this group.
I don't think that the weird chick's gonna get a bump. She'll be forgotten because I haven't heard anything about her really. Besides
a lot of damn commercials.
The white apologist thing, right?
Well, she's Twitter huge. Everyone's been
thanks.
On Twitter. Everyone's been going off about the Marianne Williamson, peace and love, and Ben Shapiro will tweet about it. I guarantee he's tweeted about her 20 times tonight because they think she's so funny because she's so silly. But.
Yeah, sorry, I was thanking people. Hey, Calamity, thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it. I just said Calamity pretty much funded tonight the trip to the Trump rally on Thursday, so I will be going.
I think CNN is pushing for Warren, though. I think they're.
Yeah. Debate, yeah.
Because they say they did their fact check and they said Sanders says half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That data is hard to pin down. The very next one is fact check. Warren says U.S. law allows family separations. She's right.
Well, here's the truth. The Democratic Party will not leave Bernie Sanders be the nominee. Bernie is the establishment. Democrats don't trust him, which is probably a good thing for him. What he doesn't realize is he's a sellout that gave out his only chance of ever really making a difference in this country for a second lake house. So enjoy your lake house, Bernie. You sold your country out. Elizabeth Warren's the same ideas as Bernie, just in a more intelligent package. She also happens to be a woman, and she's someone that the establishment knows will listen to them, because we can see, if you go back and you read her book from the mid-90s, she was all about family values, personal responsibility, but she'll change to whatever thinks gets her power. So she's a perfect Hillary Clinton type person, except she's actually more articulate. So that's who they want.
And she's way more likable than Hillary. But I personally, I can understand to most people she's likable, but not to me. But
all right, guys, I got to jump out here. Wife's calling me. I got to get some stuff back. All right, bro. Talk to you guys later, man. Peace.
Subscribe to SJG. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up hopefully right here.
Yeah, I think this is.
Hey, turn that down. Turn that down.
Me?
Yeah, yours. Yeah, I can hear it really good. I don't want to get.
Can you hear it now?
Down. It's coming. It's not. It's pretty hearable.
Okay.
Can you get through your headphones?
Nah, they died, but that's okay.
That's okay. Let's just wrap this up. We've pretty much seen everything that's happening at this point.
They're not. Everyone should check out their closing statements. I'll check it out later tonight. But I mean, what were your what did you think about it? Any takeaways?
Well, I mean, we pretty much have a collage here of people who have no chance, and then a couple people who obviously are going to be the front runners. And I mean, it's obviously the Democrat Party's veering to the far left, which is not hard to predict because the right's allegedly having the same problem. Although I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what I expected. And Warren, I think none of these people have a chance against Trump. I think Trump will demolish. He's so crazy and wild and flailing that, like, they're too normal. Trump is just, there's something about the guy. And I just think that they don't have a chance. I think we're looking good for 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I think now Trump.
Hold on, last thing. There's a lot of time between now and the election.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So basically, nothing that's happening now will have any bearing on it. But yeah.
Like, do you remember anything from 2015 for the 2016 election? Pretty much no. Trump coming down the escalator. That's about it. And him basically making fun of all the Republicans. But yeah, so I think it'll be a tough. Whoever is nominated, it'll be tough just because a third of the people are always going to vote against Trump, a third are for him. So it'll be a battle for the final third. And you never want to underestimate the insane power that the Democrats have, because they have all of the cultural institutions of power. Like, Google could change the election for them alone.
Absolutely. Yes.
But we have to look at, like, policy stuff aside, you also have to look at, like, what's going to happen with the Russia investigation. What could happen with the Epstein thing? I mean, those could be two potential bombshells. We'll see what happens to that. But I guess I'll just say my takeaway on this is the big thing for me was immigration again. Polls are showing that it is the most important issue to the majority of Americans. And basically every Democrat in stage, again tonight, with the exception of, like, Delaney and Hickenlooper and Tim, whatever his name is, were for decriminalizing crossing the border. They're all against detaining people. They all want to give money to third world countries to help people from stopping getting here. They all want to give free healthcare to all of these people. That's insanity. And if for me, if you're out there watching, that would be the big issue. That would be my takeaway. If you're black, if you're concerned about the inner city, they directly compete. These illegal immigrants end up in those communities, directly lowered labor costs.
Highlight that.
And
be like, look, you guys are going to lose by this.
Yep, I agree. And so, yeah, I thought it was bad. I thought that it's also scary how socialistic the Democratic Party is becoming. And you can tell by who got the biggest cheers. The people that were actually talking reasonably, they're going to be in the 1% to 2% numbers in the polling. The people like Elizabeth and Bernie that actually have a chance, and even Buttigieg, I mean, they're advocating trillions upon trillions of dollars of spending.
Yeah, I will say Buttigieg, Buttigieg. I'm not going to say Buttigieg. Buttigieg. Buttigieg did screw himself, I think, a little bit, because he went on that rant about, if they want to call it, reminded me of AOC. They're gonna call us socialists anyway, so who cares? Go ahead.
Yeah, but and I mean, that's good for his party. That's bad for the general election. So.
I'm saying that if he was dangerous, that, I think, screwed him personally.
Yeah. Well, but again, the thing that sucks is you have to remember, like, the average voter, they don't look at things like me or you. They're not, like, looking in depth at this debate tonight. And so if he would be nominated, or Bernie or Elizabeth, whoever out of this crew, the media will be selling them 24/7. Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and Conan O'Brien and everyone in Hollywood and, all of your favorite sports teams. They're going to be selling whoever the Democrat is 24. Oh, they're not really a socialist. Trust us. This is good. This is good. So, I mean, yeah, we'll do our best to highlight, like, no, this is exactly what he said. He basically said, sure, I'm a socialist. But, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know where we're going to get the money to pay for all these policies that people like Bernie are advocating for. But, I guess if I could say one good thing as a voter that maybe I would like from them is I do think that Elizabeth Warren has a lot of good stuff to say on trade policy, where you heard me say basically she's backing Trump's policies. And I also think she has a lot good to say on kind of corporations getting too big and things like that. Same with Bernie, but like me and you've talked about before, the problem is giving the government this power isn't going to solve that. What you do is you allow, the more powerful the central government becomes, that encourages corporations to lobby even more. Even if you end Citizens United, they'll find a way to buy off senators. Do you really think that they're not buying off Democratic senators in places like LA and San Francisco? People like Cummings, people like Pelosi, people like Dianne Feinstein. Of course they are. So when they say, trust us, just give us more power and we'll make sure that the corporations don't have their say, that they're liars. But, yeah, I mean, I guess that's my big takeaway from the night.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
It was boring. It was a boring debate. I will say this. I thought that CNN actually, this debate, Jake Tapper, as I predicted, was pretty good. He tried to hold people's feet to the fire. And I think that overall, this debate was better than the first two debates that were ran by MSNBC that were just kind of crazy. People looked way worse on those first two debates. So I don't know, though. For me, this was just more socialism's great, free stuff for everyone. Please vote for us. Trump's a racist. Yeah, open borders. That was it,
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's pretty much up to, and you kind of talked about how the debates will be forgotten, and you're right, except for people like us, like you and me, and other people in the chat. We got to just make sure we remember this stuff, keep these clips, and just keep playing them back and do our part in that, because that's the only way. We know CNN's not going to replay that stuff, so or where they're raising their hands, they're not going to replay those videos.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easier for us in the context of an election to remind people of the stuff that was said, because it's a self-contained thing, right? But did you ever notice, like, I know it's the same for you, I feel like this as well, you'll do a video, and then 6 months from now, you totally forget about that video, and you go back and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I'm listening to the Democrats and the media today say X. Trump's a racist because of X. But I could go back just 6 months and see this video where I see them doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it is easier in the context of these debates because it's self-contained. So I think, us and a bunch of other YouTube people will try to hold their feet to the fire of what they say. And with Trump too, by the way, if he makes promises, we should hold him to account,
I agree, 100%. Because we have to try and uphold some kind of integrity, because I mean, we're just YouTubers. We're just schlubs on the internet. Yeah, we're not highfalutin, hard-hitting, hardcore, truth-seeking, democracy-defending journalists, but
like Don Lemon. Well, it's clear that Trump's a bigot. What do you think about that? Oh, what a hard-hitting question from a journalist.
I just want to I feel like we should be able to hit a button and be like, no, Don Lemon, here's why you're full of shit. It really drives me crazy, because, and you know what? That's just what it is. That's what they do. That's what we're dealing with here.
One thing that's probably worth talking about real quick that wasn't brought up tonight, didn't hear the word impeachment thrown out, did you? Didn't hear the word Mueller thrown about, did you?
Hey, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
That's because CNN got the memo. The Mueller hearing did not go good for the Democrats.
No,
and so CNN's an arm of the establishment Democrats. And so they're not going to make the Democrats look bad by talking about that stuff right now. Nope. And so we'll ignore that. And again, if they were smart, if you're a Republican out there, to me, one of the areas where the Republicans are weak are on healthcare. That doesn't mean I'm for Medicare for all. I'm not saying that. But at least the Democrats are out there saying stuff. What is the Republican plan? They're like, well, we want more transparency with pricing and we want competition across state lines. I agree. But why didn't you do any of that? Instead, you promised to repeal Obamacare for 8 years. And then when you got your chance, when you had control of all three branches, you basically were like, Trump. And you can't blame Trump for this, by the way. Trump routinely is like, hey, Republicans, let's talk about healthcare. And what do Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and the rest say? Shh, shut up. Don't talk about that. So, I think that Trump... To me, that's one of the things I like about Trump. Like, Trump seems to be someone, in a lot of issues, and granted, there are things I could say I dislike about it, but he seems to be someone to me that is legitimately like, I care more about helping the country than thinking, well, what strategically would help me get elected the most?
He wears his heart and his brain and his soul on his sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt what Trump is thinking.
I mean, so you could understand if you're thinking strategically of winning the game of the election. Well, there's so much on our plate. Maybe we don't, as Republicans, want to talk about healthcare. And Trump's just basically like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I want people to have good healthcare. You know what I mean? And to me, there's something refreshing about that. As opposed to these Democrats, they'll talk about healthcare. How many times have we heard the Democrats talk about the Dreamers? They actually had a chance when Trump wanted his funding for the wall and wanted to make a deal for the Dreamers. What did the Democrats do? When the rubber met the road, they said, nah, we don't want to do that. Because, and why? Because they didn't want to spend a couple $1 million on a wall? Which they admit works because they funded before. So it just goes to show you that the difference between, and again, I'm not saying Trump hasn't done things I don't like, but at least he seems to be someone that's like, hey, I'm actually trying to get stuff done. Where the Democrats have yet to show me, all they show me is we'll say what we think, we'll promise people as much free stuff as possible and hope that we get elected.
Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now because we've been going for a marathon 3 hours now, which we've never done before. I don't think we've even come close to this. We've got maybe an hour and a half, but never this long. But I'll say that you're absolutely right. Trump, he's the only guy we got fighting for us, and we got some guys in the dugout to hopefully take the mantle after Trump serves his 2 terms. Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, and some other guys there. But everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the super chats tonight. Calamity pretty much funded my trips to Cincinnati Thursday to the Trump rally. And I will spend that money well. I'm gonna do some live streams, like I said. I'm gonna make a video. It should be interesting. It's gonna get hairy down there. I'll tell you right now. It's gonna. I was supposed to have security. I don't anymore. So it should be interesting. I hope nobody wants to beat my ass. I hope there's, I pointed out earlier, I went to that Covington protest, which is just across the bridge. Oh wait, that's actually. Oh yeah, that's just across the bridge there.
Yeah, right.
And I got threatened from people over there, Antifa from Kentucky and that shit. So hopefully none of them come to start any beef. I'm gonna have some beef jerky on me, but that's the only beef I want. And anyway, thanks for coming tonight, guys. Thanks, Robert Noir.
Yep.
Go subscribe to Robert. The guy is just brilliant. And I don't mean to blow smoke up your ass there, Robert, but I just think you're a brilliant guy. I think that you got a great channel. I think that you should be big, and he will be in the future. So go subscribe, share his stuff, subscribe to me, share my stuff. And guys, keep coming back. Thank you for coming. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you. Good night.
See ya.
Later.